one here since 1986. Stanley.
Yes, Tim, and what a beauty I think it's going to be. When you go through and you look at these two teams, you just can't help but think of the individual battles that should line up. And one wonders with Tony Lockett and Stuart Lowe and those key forward posters in Kilda, who's going to pick him up? Will it be Fairley or Martin? How will Coach Schimmelbusch switch them around? And of course, St Kilda have got their worries too, because John Longmire always seems to be able to play quite well. And will Danny Frawley be given the chance against him, or will they try and to swing somebody else in? The brilliance of John McCarthy, perhaps David Grant will get on him. The battle in the centre, Larkin and Harvey. But I think that the biggest battle is almost going to be the psychological battle, because third versus fourth, it really is something, because these sides, I think that they are at this stage where they would, and not unkindly, you'd say they are pretenders for final positions. And so today will mean one heck of a lot, the outcome of it for their chances, not only to make the finals, but if they should come up against each other. I really am a bit undecided. One looks to say the height advantage of the high marking St Kilda side, and then you look at the brilliance of the smaller running players. I've mentioned Matthew Larkin, but Jose Romero, Darren Steele and Delina from Fitzroy, who really has added a lot of bite to them around the packs. And so the work of Newport, Craven and Coghlan to try and shut them out will just be one enormous task. It's almost a toss of the coin to my way of thinking, and as I've said so many times, I think that the home ground advantage, and we know the advantage at this St Kilda ground, the ball will spend a lot of time, I think, because the breeze is blowing straight towards us. We're sitting in the St Kilda grandstand. I think a lot of the play will be out this side of the ground, and with the very parochial St Kilda crowd behind their team, I would lean towards St Kilda to get up in a very tight and close encounter.
Incidentally, the men in white with the blue socks officiating, Rowan Saws and Grant Vernon. Crackers?
Well, I just saw him putting some oil on Lockett there. It used about 4 gallons of that. Was only for one arm. He's a big man. He was standing there and said, half forward. No. I tell you what, if you had a little bit of fear about you and you're out in that ground today and you ran into Lockett, I think you'd actually pull a hamstring very, very quickly. But it's going to be a great game. Stan, all the right reasons. They're all up there in the 6th. They're vying, having a go. Whoever wins this probably gets a fair bit of pedigree. North Melbourne got the little running players in there. Young Gallagher's got a big job today because he's the only real big bloke with Donald McDonald. They've got to match it against a couple of the big tall Saints. And the Saints have got Lowe and Lockett. They've got to be able to compete. It's going to be a great duel between... I would say they're going to play Martin on Lockett, because Martin will stir him up, and with this crosswind, and it's going to be very, very hard to mark the ball. I just hope that Lockett doesn't lose his cool today. I just hope that young Ellison doesn't fly again today, because if he does get up there today and the wind the way it's going, we'll have to get him down from the grandstand. But I'm tipping St Kilda to win this. North Melbourne have got a lot of ability, but probably just haven't got enough body players, and you'll need body players today. And St Kilda very desperate. They've all turned up in their thousands to watch them, and it's great to turn up at St Kilda and when they're on a bit of a roll, because these people down here in the Sandbelt do support, and they're very vocal the way they do support too. But North will win the rucks. I think Gallagher will beat Hardy in the ruck, but overall St Kilda in a tight one.
Let's check the other scores. Play is underway at Princes Park. David Mackay.
Brereton kicked the first goal for Hawthorn within 30 seconds to give Hawthorn a lead by 7 points after 7 minutes. Hawthorn 1-1-7. Geelong yet to score.
And you can confirm that Ablett hasn't lined up in the seniors as well?
No, there's been no revelations of that ability, unfortunately.
Who's got the breeze, David?
Well, the breeze is really blowing across the ground. I wouldn't say it's favouring either end, so at this stage it might change as the game goes on. It doesn't appear to be as strong as obviously it is down there.
Well, it's blowing stiffly from the east, I think. Is it not smooth with that windsock standing up over on the outer side? And
east, south-east.
Normally that would indicate if it's blowing from the east at Princes Park, it might favour the Heatley stand, but fluky breezes around Melbourne perhaps. To Phil Pennell at the MCG.
Yes, we've been playing 7 minutes and Richmond have won behind. Melbourne have yet to score, but in a sensation, I think that Gary Lyon has been reported for flattening Barry Young in the first 30 seconds of this game.
How did he do it, Phil?
I actually missed that, but then there was an altercation later on, and both the field umpire and the emergency umpire raced out onto the ground. Young badly hurt? He was winded, and they called for the stretcher, but he was able to get up and continue with the game. And then he went over and remonstrated with Lyon. I actually was writing down and looking for the changes at the start of the game when the incident took place. It was very early in the game.
Martin has picked up Lockett. St Kilda kicking to the South Road goal. Tim.
And umpire saws it's going to be at the first bounce. Harding's on the bench for St Kilda. And it's Kitchke and ruck for the Saints. Gallagher there for North Melbourne. Tremendous air of anticipation, expectation at Moorabbin as Soares holds the ball aloft, blows the whistle and throws it into the air, and Gallagher and Kitchke clash, and Kitchke wins handsomely down to Harvey with long sleeves. A wide hand pass is brilliant to Winmar. A wobbly old punt into attack. Martin attacks the ball in front of Lockett. Traps it well on the bounce. Kicks back towards the wing. No one able to mark it. In goes big Gallagher for North. Helps it on to German, who comes clear of the pack. Even has a bounce. Almost loses it. Gets it back. Kicks towards Longmire, who's got it at the 50. Lovely move by the Kangaroos. Now Allison dropping in towards the square. Longmire goes long towards goal. Allison sets himself and can't mark Phil Pennell. Off his hands through for a behind. The Roos making the first score after 40 seconds. A minor. The Saints yet to score. And all the trappings of a very big and exciting game here at Moorabbin.
Kick in by Frawley eventually, if he can find a target. Newport leads to our broadcast side, the member side. He goes beyond him. A long way behind. Swash almost took the mark. He's travelling the wrong way. He's up on the wing on the St Kilda member side. Wheels onto his left boot, then kicks heftily in towards centre half forward. Up goes Rice. Will get a free kick for pushing it back. No. Hand pass comes from German on to Steele. Stealing towards goal, and it's just to the right, offline, and through for a behind. So North Melbourne 2 behinds, 2 points. The Saints yet to score. We've played about 90 seconds in the furious opening here at Moorabbin.
Frawley has a good look, shapes to go to Nathan Burke, and then goes a bit straighter towards Kitchke, but Gallagher takes front position and takes the mark. Nice work. Kitchke won the first knock. Gallagher's beaten him twice since. Goes towards a lead from McCarthy, who can't mark. Or McDonald it was, off the pack taken by Grant. His scrambled clearing kick, rather fortuitously, falls into the arms of Winmar at centre half back for the Saints. After being under pressure for about a minute, he goes towards Lowe. Fairly out-positions him and takes the mark. And so both St Kilda's big trumps have been beaten in one-out contests in the early part. Fairley goes towards Gallagher. Kitchke makes the spoil. Schwass at the fall. Lovely hand pass for Steele on the flank. He goes in towards a lead from McDonald. It doesn't carry. Allison there to contest. Picked up for the Saints by Burke. He's dispossessed. Now a chance for Romero. A hand pass on to the running Ross Smith, who goes for goal, and he too offline puts it out of bounds on the full. And so North from 3 shots have mustered only 2 minors, and the Saints have yet to score.
Short kick by Frawley. Well, it travels about 35 metres. It finds its target in Grant out in the half-back line. Good support shepherding behind play to give him a safe passage as he kicks the ball up towards the centre of the ground. Harvey is there. Picked up by Ross Smith. Gives the handball across to McCarthy. McCarthy's kicking towards the forward pocket. Longmire's got the chase. Gives the hand pass further down the field. And the ball kicking towards McDonald at centre half forward. The ball picked up by Rice, a bit closer to the ground, the little fellow. Kick by Rice outside 50, out towards the half-back line. St Kilda mark. And it's been taken by Morris on the half-back flank. North Melbourne 2 behinds, 2 points. St Kilda yet to score. Kick by Morris around that scoreboard side. Up goes Lowe, can't mark. St Kilda player looking for a free kick and will get it for being held. And it's Newport on the eastern wing here at Moorabbin. North Melbourne looking very sharp so far. Kick by Newport up towards 50. Out comes Lockett. One grab, not the second. There were no crumbers there for St Kilda. The ball still on 50, picked up by Martin. But there's a whistle on play. It's going to be a North Melbourne free kick to Sturicki. Handball across to Ross Smith.
The free was against Lockett for a tackle when the North player wasn't in possession. Kick by Smith through the centre, but Morris takes the mark. On the half-back line is Morris. Between half-back and centre. Goes for Newport and Lowe. Newport had it on his chest but lost it. In goes Craven. Runs onto the ball. Goes wide on the wing. Just forward thereof. Gets around fairly. In towards half-forward for Harvey, who takes a gem of a mark. He goes short to Winmar, who's got it. Not that much closer to goal. But I don't need to tell you about Nicky Winmar's kicking prowess. The man on the mark, Schwass, is 45 metres out. Winmar up to a sea of blue and white behind the South Road goal. And the roar, or the silence and groan, will tell all. Winmar kicks from inside 50. He's hooked it. The roar started going up, but that wind from right to left really got hold of that. It started out well to the right and it finished up out of bounds on the full on the left, and it's a free kick to Martin.
Martin now, back pocket, South Road goal, around the member side for St Kilda. Kitski went up but couldn't mark the ball. Coughlin comes to it, gives the hand pass to Harvey, who's been in the thick of things with Winmar as well. Winmar 3 possessions. Harvey knocks it out to Burke. Burke's high hand pass knocked away by Gallagher. Swash applies the tackle, and the ball comes free at the pack, picked up by Craven. Kicks the ball up towards the half back line or half forward line. Ross Smith comes out. Good courageous clearing kick. Morris the spoil from behind McCarthy. And the ball is out of bounds almost in front of our broadcast position on the wing, just out from the wing, near the players' race, the visiting players' race here at Moorabbin. North Melbourne lead by 2 points to 0. The boundary throw in. Gallagher knocks it to the side. Who to? It was McCarthy. Got it to Ramiro. Up towards Allison, being pursued by Rice. Allison goes to ground. The ball comes to Grant. Pushing it back, Grant. No free kick. And the North Melbourne players are claiming David Grant with their hands in the air. But the umpire, and that was Grant Vernon, didn't respond. The ball up 25 out from North's goal. Gallagher takes the ball out of the air, gets it on his toe, kicked away by Grant across towards the half-back line, picked up by Ross Smith. A long kick for goal's a beauty. Or is it a goal? No, it's a behind only. Well, it was very high, and I thought, well, the breeze may get hold of that and just bring it back another metre or so. It didn't. North 3 behind 3 points. David Mackay.
Scores level at Princes Park. 1 goal to Hawthorn, 1 goal to Geelong after 14 minutes. Phil Pennell.
It's Melbourne by 5 points, 14 minutes in. 1-1-7's their score. Richmond 2 behind.
Frawley straight down the middle. No one able to mark. Taken for North by Delina. Chips to the half-forward flank to Allison, who marks on his chest. Outside 50. North much more aggressive and dangerous. He goes towards McDonald's lead, but very courageously David Grant comes across his path and did it with as much commitment to indicate that he would have done so if McDonald was a Sherman tank and not a human being. Kick out to half-back. Gallagher brings it down to the front of the pack. Socket by Craven, North's way, but he's in control. A hand pass to Peake, and off half-back. Goes towards Smith and Crocker. Smith uses the body to out-jostle Crocker. Helps it on to McAdam, who's under pressure from 2. Tries to soccer it and misses. Support from Lowe, who picks up. Hand passes backwards to Newport. Poor kick, a scrubber up towards full forward. Out comes Chandler, pushed in the back by Hilton. And Chandler takes a free kick for North Melbourne between the full-back and half-back lines. He gives a hand pass to Larkin, who steadies and kicks out towards the wing, where Crocker takes the mark on his chest under the scoreboard, which has North Melbourne 3 behind St Kilda yet to score after 7.5.
Kick by Crocker towards the half-forward line. McCarthy up high, but the man in mark's being paid the mark, and rightly so. And that was David Grant, who has started very well indeed. Grant on the half-back flank. On the back track as he kicks the ball up towards the point of the square. Consequently, the ball doesn't travel all that far. It's marked by Ross Smith again. North go forward. Jeffrey is there for North. Handball Harrison. Allison's hand pass to Ramiro. Ramiro kick rebounds off a St Kilda player to Longmire about 3 metres out from goal, and Longmire has put it through. So North doing very well in the first 8 minutes of this match at Moorabbin. North Melbourne 1-3-9, St Kilda yet to score. The goal by Longmire. Stan.
Yes, well, there's no doubt that North have started much better than St Kilda. They are sharper. They are much more aggressive going the ball, and they're absolutely dominating around the packs at the small fall of the ball. Every time it's the North players who are leading the St Kilda men in, and they are looking much better. They've got more options on the forward line, and it just they're leaving leaving St Kilda flat-footed at this stage.
The grey around the temples. Rowan soars, throws it up. The Saints get the better of it, but Storitsky picks up on the defensive side of the pack. His kick goes straight across ground. Winmar versus Smith. Smith makes the spoil and then picks up the ball. Puts North into attack, but Morris doing well on McCarthy. Takes the mark. Again at half-back for the Saints. Goes out towards McAdam's lead. Spoil comes from Scholl. At the fall, Scholl runs at it. Smith for St Kilda in there as well. But Smith over the ball now. He might be in trouble. Yes, he is. Predictably, I don't believe he dived on that ball. He was in there fighting for it, but he didn't dive on it, surely. And it's a free kick to Scholl of North Melbourne on the wing.
Half-back flank up towards the half-forward line, punched away. It comes down to the front of the pack, picked up by Grant again. Handball across to Pekin, who made a terrible mess of the ball. He fumbled, fell to the ground, but got up, gained his composure, and with a foot pass finds Newport wide of centre. Stephen Newport looking for someone to lead further down the field. Kicks the ball inside 50 towards Lowe. Lowe uses his body beautifully. He's marked about 50 metres out from goal, Stewie Lowe. Lockett's back in the goal square, but he's going for a long bomb. He'll need to give plenty of thought to this kick with the breeze. It's a long kick,
He did, well, it went about 50 metres, but unfortunately the breeze got it. And he was trying to get it down there quickly to lock it. And I think that's where the thought process was lost in relation to the breeze, because the breeze did get it and took it across to the left. St Kilda on the scoreboard. North 1-3, St Kilda 1 behind.
Crocker goes for Gallagher, who does well. Marks on his chest. Out-manoeuvring Kitschke. Thinks about the hand pass to Steele. Thinks about it a second time, and the umpire says you better play on now. His kick is a poor one, but falls straight into the arms of Schwass on the wing. So North the chance to build another attack. Only Russell Morris standing between them and about 4 or 5 goals so far. This time Jeffrey spoils McDonald. At the fall, McCarthy tackled hard, dispossessed. Grant in there fighting, gets tackled high. And I said Russell Morris standing between North and a few goals. Russell Morris and David Grant, to be precise, because he's been excellent, Stanley, early on.
Well, they've been real trouble without either of them. You correct him. 6 possessions to Grant. Up goes Lowe, can't mark. It's on the crest, picked up by Burke of St Kilda. Kicks long in towards half forward. Up goes Scholl, good mark, running with the flight of the ball. No, it wasn't played, I don't think. It might have been touched, but he does get the kick back towards the centre to Ross Smith, who's burning down there. Winmar giving chase. Smith's kick for North Melbourne up towards Longmire. Longmire too far underneath the ball. Morris is there, knocks the ball up towards centre half back to Pekin. Pekin's floating hand pass to Hospital, one to Frawley. But Frawley does well to duck his head, then gives a hand pass out towards Morris. They're under pressure, St Kilda. Goes to Grant, handball across to Frawley. Frawley around the outer wing. McAdam is there, the ball easily punched away by Scholl. Smith is there for St Kilda, knocks the ball out for Winmar on the wing beneath the scoreboard. He kicks the ball up towards the half-forward line. And the players in pursuit, it's Harvey and also Storitsky, but the ball wins and there'll be a boundary throw in. David Mackay at Princes Park.
1 point lead to Geelong after 20 minutes. Geelong 1-3-9, lead Hawthorn 1-8. Phil Pennell.
Melbourne by 12 points at the 19-minute mark. 2-2-14, Richmond 2 behind.
11.5 at Moorabbin. North 1-3, St Kilda 1 behind. At the throw in, North getting the better of it, but Saints with numbers around the ball, and a ball up is forced. Out near the scoreboard on the outer wing, favouring St Kilda by about 15 metres. Umpire Vernon. Will he bounce or will he throw it up? He'll throw it up. Lowe versus Fairley. Lowe uses the body and wins beautifully down towards Coghlan, but he loses the run of it to Smith. He goes back for a second go, loses it again. Picked up by Crocker. Kicks forward to the centre for North. Kitschke misses a mark. Socket on by Gallagher up towards half forward. Race for the ball now. Romero there first. Good pick up, good hand pass to McCarthy. Another one to Allison. A left foot snap at goal is good. Oh, brilliant play by the Kangaroos, who get their second. That was class. North 2-3-15, St Kilda 1 behind after 12.5. Crackers.
Well, I like the way they're moving the ball, North Melbourne. They're coming off the half-back line. They're winning down there. Ross Smith, but they're just the way they're moving the ball. And young Romero just ran away from Morris then, showed him a clean pair of heels, gave the hand pass to McCarthy, over to Brett Allison, and the aerialist can actually kick too, and just didn't miss on his left foot. They are looking good at the moment, the little Kangaroos, my old side.
North leading by 15 points to 1. Ball up by Vernon, throw up in the air. The secondary knocked by Kitschke up towards half forward. Fairley is there, gets his kick in though from the half-back line, kicks up towards the wing. Allison goes to ground. Rice gives him a push in the back. Allison's free kick on the wing. On the St Kilda member side. North Melbourne 2-3. St Kilda 1 behind 1 point. Allison onto his left boot. Centering kick towards centre half forward. Up there is McCarthy. Pulling behind is Jeffrey. Kick off the ground by Longmire. No, it wasn't Longmire because it was McDonald who kicked the ball towards the right forward pocket. Longmire giving chase with Frawley. The ball wins and it's out of bounds. Checking out the scores in just a moment. North Melbourne 2-3. St Kilda 1 behind 1 point here at Moorabbin. 13 minutes in the first term. Kitschke knocks it down. Grant is there. But a North Melbourne player just out of my view for the moment. It's German, I think it is, yes, as he gets up. And there'll be a further boundary throw in. 30 metres from goal at the highway end. Right forward pocket, and North deep into attack. Kitschke knocks it down towards Newport, but he's second to the ball. Picked up by Steele, if he can control it. He's harassed by Craven. It might have come off his boot. No, it didn't. There's going to be a free kick for holding the ball. Deliberate, was it? Against Steele to Burke, who gives the hand pass to Craven. Kicks the ball right across the half-back line to McAdam. McAdam's marked on 50. Now they're coming in from the eastern side, and he steps around Scholl pretty well, delivers a hand pass on to the bootlaces of Morris, who did
very well to pick it up and give the hand pass back to McAdam. Kicks it towards the half-forward line. A chance here for Sturicki. It may have been held by Winmar. The ball knocked away there by Steele. It's just wide of the centre. Winmar's hand pass to McAdam. McAdam's hand pass to Harvey. Harvey's hand pass to Pegan. Pegan on the attacking side of the centre. Kicks it towards centre half forward. Out lost Lockett. Out mark. She pushed a second time. The ball picked up by Harvey at centre half forward. Open goal. Kicks it towards goal. Allowed for the breeze. And it didn't respond. And it's a behind to St Kilda. Kicked by Robert Harvey. David Mackay at Princes Park.
8-point lead to Geelong at the 24-minute mark. Geelong 2-4-16 lead. Hawthorn 1-2-8. Phil Pennell.
Melbourne by 1 point at the 22-minute mark. 2-3-15. Richmond 2-2-14. And the Demons have the win.
Tremendous excitement here whenever the Saints go forward with those potent key forwards. Now the ball back in play and the Saints get a free to Burke. 65 from goal. Lockett starts to lead. Lowe's in the same vicinity. Lockett sets himself against two. Didn't look like getting into the contest then. They had him beaten. Hilton knocks it on, but picked up by Martin, who kicks to space out on half back, and it bounces over the line for a throw-in. Just inside the Saints 50. North 2-3-15. The Saints have two behinds, but they are always dangerous up forward. Lowe versus Fairley. Harding's come on for Kitchke, incidentally. McAdam soccers it on towards an unguarded goal and puts it through. Well, he's a McGarry medalist and he might have won an FA Cup winning medal for that performance too. St Kilda 1-2-8, North Melbourne 2-3-15. It took the Saints 16 minutes to get there first.
Yes, and he has been a very good player for them in the last few minutes, McAdam, but thought a bit of poetic justice, because if ever I've seen a free kick not given there, it's unbelievable. I mean, you see ruckman able to touch each other. Lockett was just absolutely dragged to the ground and nothing given.
From the centre bounce, as Kitski is back on and Rowan Smith has gone off, and there will be a secondary ball up. St Kilda 1-2-8, North Melbourne 2-3-15. There's the secondary ball up. Gallagher knocks it down. Through the pack comes Harvey, who's doing very well. Handball out to Winmar, who runs away from Ross Smith. Gets a good shepherd from Burke too to allow a safe passage. Well done, Burke. Winmar kicks it towards Stewie Lowe. Off the pack, Hilton. Handballs because he's been tackled. The ball comes down there to Delina. Gives the hand pass across the half-back line. Hilton goes in. Will feed a hand pass to Harvey outside 50. He's got to stretch for it. He does. He weaves his way through. Kicks it towards Lowe. One grab, not the second. Picked up by McAdam off the pack. He's on 50. Kicks in towards goal. It's in towards Lockett. Out he comes. Can't mark. Martin doing pretty well. The ball picked up there by German. Kicks across the half-back line. Burke does well. Knocks it down to Kitchke. He's grabbed. The ball picked up by Schwass. Bad kick. It comes out towards Harding. He's clean bowled. So is Gallagher. But not Grant, who picks it up. He's 75 metres out from goal. Goes down towards Lowe this time. McAdam for the crumbs and also Coughlin. It's kicked out of the pack there by Fairley, outside 50. The ball comes down to Sturicki, who kicks the ball over the top of a couple of St Kilda players, where it's been marked by Ramiro.
Who puts the Kangaroos into attack. McCarthy running onto it, but opposition from Rice. In comes Allison for the Kangaroos. Danger here. Floats a hand pass to Steele. Well tackled though and forced to hand pass Blind. In goes Rice to win the ball for the Saints. He's put out of business. Picked up by Allison. Back to Steele. Under pressure. St Kilda free kick, I think, for a high Shepherd. Or a throw, is it? Thanks, Stan. Going to Jeffrey and taking it just inside the defensive 50. Relief for the Saints, who were under great pressure. He goes to the wing. No one able to mark. Schwass knocks it North Melbourne's way. But picked up by Nathan Burke. Kicks up to half forward for the Saints. North Melbourne first there. Scholl running hard at it. In pursuit comes Coughlin. Scholl, a good hand pass off to Fairley, who swings the Kangaroos into attack. Gallagher in front of Harding. Good spoil by the Saint down to Grant, who couldn't take it cleanly. Craven paddles to Rice. A hand pass to Grant. Saints out of trouble again. Back to the centre, but Scholl courageously stands under a high ball and takes a mark on his chest.
North Melbourne 2-3, St Kilda 1-2. The kick by Scholl in towards centre half forward. And it's all St Kilda, and the mark has been taken by Pekin at centre half back. Kicks the ball out wide towards Winmar. Ross Smith after him. Winmar takes the mark, then kicks the ball up towards Hilton with those blonde locks flowing in the breeze here. Takes the mark, handball across to Winmar. Winmar now 70 out. Little Dabby kick now towards Lockett. One grab, Tony's got it, the big fellow. Tony Lockett's got it. Hand will listen to the crowd. It's been a terrific duel already between Lockett and Martin. A bit of aggro between them, which you would expect, and would be disappointed if they didn't go on with it to a certain degree. Lockett unlucky not to get a free kick a short time ago, but clearly outpointed Martin then. But Martin wasn't too far away. He couldn't have wedged a cigarette paper between them. So good was Martin's defence, but so good was Lockett's ability to take the mark. He's in the beautiful spot. He's about 10 metres off dead centre, 40 metres out, and the breeze will just bring the ball across. He needs to aim, I guess, to the major upright to the right and let the breeze do the rest. It does respond. It's a well-thought kick by the big fellow. He's put it through. North Melbourne 2-3. St Kilda 2-2 here at Moorabbin. We played 20 minutes in the first term. David Mackay at Princes Park.
3-point lead to Geelong at quarter time. Geelong 2-5-17. Lead Hawthorn 2-2-14. Phil Pennell.
It's a 1-point lead to Melbourne at the 28-minute mark. 3-3-21. Richmond 3-2-20.
North 2-3, St Kilda 2-2, just a point in it at Moorabbin. 20 and a half minutes first term. Umpire Saws throws it up. Harding and Gallagher from either side. They didn't come straight down the ground. It falls to Lowe. Swings the Saints into attack. Hilton and Chandler, neither can mark. McAdam onto it again. Goes for his second and puts it through. Brilliant play, Gilbert McAdam, and the Saints with the last 3 goals are in front. 3-2-20. North Melbourne 2-3-15.
Yes, there's no doubt that St Kilda have settled, and a lot of that ascendancy is because their players such as Winmar and the brilliant McAdam have really started to get a little bit of ascendancy, and I thought that the St Kilda started to swing the ball around a little bit too, rather than just the predictable long kicks down to those set forwards, and that's made them a better side.
Back in the middle again. Harding got a flick at it, but it wasn't a decisive knock. Oh, fresh air shot by Craven. Kick off the ground by Gallagher. Gets North Melbourne moving, but there's a whistle back on play. Ellison, I'm not sure what for, has got the free kick. Holding on the attacking side of the centre. Now kicks to Longmire's lead. He's got a little bit of space there. Frawley's knocks it down and does pretty well. Grant goes to ground, gets a difficult hand pass, but it goes to Jeffrey. So the Saints out of trouble now. Good shepherd smother by German to kick the ball in North Melbourne's left forward pocket at the highway end. The ball knocked out of the pack there by Newport. A little nudge on by Pekin. Gets the ball outside 50. McCarthy tackled by 2 St Kilda players. Ross Smith tunnels the ball back for McCarthy. That was good play. Good shepherd by Larkin to allow McCarthy to get the hand pass away to Ramiro. On his left foot, goes long towards centre half forward. Morris a two-fisted punch away. Here comes the McDonald, hand pass to Allison. Open goal coming up. Sherman, 3 metres out, has put it through. Boy, what a game down here at Moorabbin. North by a point. 22 and a half minutes in the first quarter. North 3-3, St Kilda 3-2. At Princes Park at quarter time, it's Geelong 2-5 to Hawthorn 2-2. Phil at the MCG before Pete.
Yes, it's quarter time at the MCG and Melbourne lead by a point. 3-3-21, Richmond 3-2-20.
Crackers?
Oh, I was just waiting for the goal scorers from Phillip, but it's a very absorbing contest. And one thing about North Melbourne, when they go forward, they really run hard at the ball, and that was just a result of their forwards putting in a fair bit of pressure on the St Kilda defence, and with German, who's playing quite a good game and is really starting to lift his work rate, got on the end of a hand pass, and it's anybody's game at the moment.
Now it's Harris against Harding. Harris came on a moment ago for Gallagher and actually got into the play. He was one of the hand passes then. Saints into attack. Harvey to McAdam and on to Coughlin. Inside 50. Unguarded goal. Through. Well, it's one of those games where it was as tight as a drum for the first 15 minutes, and suddenly it's flowing and the goals are really flowing with it. St Kilda 4-2-26, North Melbourne 3-3-21, 23 and a half minutes in.
Yes, and it is exciting as the ball's just going up and down the ground. I felt that the move of Sheldon bringing Harding into the ruck has really given the lift, because Kitchie was struggling, but Harding has been responsible. A lot of good play in the last few minutes.
Ball up in the centre. Ruck's just about even there. Morris overruns it. Comes behind the pack to Rice. Gets a bit of a nudge from Ramiro. Kicks the ball up the ground, and it's off the ground. It was meant for McAdam, but the mark taken by Scholl. Scholl just on the defensive side of the centre. Goes out towards the scoreboard wing. Morris is there with McCarthy. Morris does punch the ball sideways to the pack away from McCarthy. Winmar goes in over the back of a North Melbourne player. No free kick. The ball comes out towards the boundary line where it's picked up by McCarthy. Handball across to Larkin. Larkin squeezes a hand pass back to McCarthy. The weight of numbers sees St Kilda emerge through Pekin. Kicks the ball up towards the wing. Scholl over the back of McAdam had the spoil. It comes down towards Ross Smith. Handball across there to Delina. But he's grabbed the tackling's good. Kick off the ground by Harding. It's still on the wing. Picked up by Newport. Goes to ground. There was no one to hand pass it to. Sturridge gets a short kick. Ramiro taken out of the contest by Harding. Picked up by Craven. Hand pass on towards Grant. Through the centre he goes. David Grant, a long kick in towards centre half forward. And the ball punched away by the North Melbourne defence just as Martin was about to take the mark. It was almost picked up by Kitski, who had it spent in the wet conditions. It slithered off his hand. It was pretty ambitious for the big fellow in these conditions to bend down and pick it up. And Crocker cleared the ball. But I've got a pole in front of me here, and right at centre half forward, sometimes I just lose a little bit of vision. But I thought that Martin was in front of Lockett and was all set to mark that, Tim.
Kitschke gets the knock to the defensive side of the pack. Harvey gets a hand pass out for the Saints, but to no effect. Now Newport's got it though. Puts a hand pass in front of Craven. Little fellow does well, but his kick smothered by Crocker. Craven gets it back. A paddle meant for Newport. Newport sockers onto the chest of Coughlin, who drops it, gets it back, goes for goal. And the Saints have their fifth. And they lead by 9 points at Moorabbin. St Kilda 5-2-32. North 3-3-21, and that after the Kangaroos kicked the first 2 goals of the game. We've just ended time on here, repeating that at quarter time Hawthorn led Geelong by 3 points and Melbourne led Richmond by 1. Crackers.
Just going down the ground there, Frankie Coughlin, who has been loose all day, just running down, and they've got to pick him up. If they don't pick him up, and it's Delina's got him, they're going to be in stride. They're looking very good at the moment, Saints.
Centre bounce knocked down by Harris, I think it was. The ball comes down to Rice, but he got a bad bounce. So did Ellison, picked up by Larkin. Handball to German. North go forward. German's kick towards Longmire and also McDonald. Free kick being played to Longmire. 20 metres out, directly in front for over the shoulder. Well, there are a couple of players backing into Longmire and Frawley, and I guess it's pretty hard to control if you're going to try and punch the ball away from behind where your arm does actually land when you've got players coming in front of you as well. But there was an infringement, and I think Frawley's too happy with it. 20 metres out for Longmire, drop punch for goal and puts it through. North Melbourne's fourth. St Kilda 5-2, North Melbourne 4-3. Stanley.
Yes, well, there was no doubt about that. Danny Frawley was caught behind. I mean, if you concede the front position, and the man is taller than you, you're in awful trouble, and Danny Frawley leant out and pulled Johnny Longmire back. I thought it was great play, though, the kick of Germans to get it back to that centre zone. I think this is one of the real key things for both sides, is that the running players there's got to be more pressure on it at the moment. We see both sides when those players are getting free. If you're 4 or 5 metres off today, you just can't pick them up in the heavy conditions. You must play closer man on man.
Saints by 5 points. Harris wins out of the centre. Romero a chance, doesn't collect cleanly. Steele knocks it on towards Stevens, who can't pick it up. Saints with 2 over the ball now. Craven and Grant, neither could do any business. Picked up by Schwartz, does brilliantly. Works his way clear, slithering out like a snake. Kicks towards full forward. Oh, and it clean bowled a couple. But fortunately for the Saints, went the wrong side of the major upright.
Delina's been dragged.
Delina off.
Had to go.
North 4-4-28. St Kilda 5-2-32. Ball back in play quickly from Frawley.
Kicked in by Frawley to Rice on 50. It was good lead from Rice and also Harvey. Had a couple of options out there. Rice marks, kicks the ball. It just holds up in the breaks a little bit. McAdam caught behind and Scholl's marked wide of the centre for North Melbourne. 28.25 minutes in this first quarter. The kick by Scholl, a centering one. Looks to be St Kilda. Oh, up goes Allison again. Not quite as high as last week. David Grant slinging hand pass across the half-back line. Kicked off the ground by Jeffrey. Schwartz is there too. Longmire comes in with good hip and shoulder. Kick off the ground by Schwartz. It's out on the full. Free kick to St Kilda. Just near the visitors' players' race, the visiting players' race, below our commentary position here, which is not a bad one, except for a pole to our right and just a little upright wooden upright in front of my vision here, but it's a good vantage point here at Moorabbin. Now the ball coming back to Frawley, who signals long in the dying moments of this first quarter. St Kilda 5-2, North Melbourne 4-4. Kick by Frawley up towards the wing. It goes through the pack. Craven tries to trap it. Coughlin does pretty well. In fact, he does very well to get a hand pass from Harvey. Kicks the ball towards centre half forward. Hilton is caught behind. Kick off the ground there by North Melbourne Smith up towards the centre. Grant slips over, picked up by McCarthy. Handball onto Ramiro. Goes long to McDonald. Jeffrey is there. He's got the front position. He falls to ground. Jeffrey knocks the ball out towards Winmar, and Winmar will clear.
Out to half-back to space, and it'll drop over the boundary line for a throw-in. And the Saints fans applauding their appreciation. 29 and a half gone. Saints 5-2, the Kangaroos 4-4. St Kilda by 4 points. At the throw-in, Harris and Harding. Harris climbs high. Beautiful knock towards McCarthy at the back. Craven runs onto it, though. He's well met. Picked up by Harding. Hand pass backwards to Grant. Swings the Saints into attack. It beats the pack. In goes Coughlin, having a big quarter with a couple of goals and many possessions. He's buried this time, though. Nowhere to go. And umpire Vernon is going to ball it up between centre and half forward for the Saints. 12 possessions to David Grant in this first term, as Grant Vernon throws it into the air. Lowe gets a mighty knock forward with the left fist. Larkin running backwards for North Melbourne under pressure. Gets some support from Scholl, who tries to close it down, and there's the siren. An absolutely tremendous first quarter at Moorabbin. 9 goals, 6 kicked, and that after a very tight first 15 minutes. And then suddenly it flowed like a torrent. St Kilda 5-2-32, North Melbourne 4-4-28. For the Saints, 2 each to McAdam and Coughlin. Midfielders running down the ground, doing superbly well, and 1 to Lockett. And for North Melbourne, Longmire kicked 2, 1 each to German and Allison. The Saints lead by 4 points as we check second quarter scores at Princes Park in the MCG. David Mackay.
Hawthorn in front by 10 points after 5 minutes. Hawthorn 4-3-27, lead Geelong 2-5-17. The goal scorers to this stage, 3 to Dermot Brereton, 2 of those in the first term, and 1 to John Platten for Hawthorn, whilst for Geelong, their goal scorers all in the first quarter are Bairstow and Stoneham. Phil Pennell.
We've played 4 minutes into the second quarter, and Melbourne lead by 7 points. 4-4-28 to Richmond, 3-3-21 for Melbourne. Bennett has 2, and Obst and Schwartz have 1, and for Lambert, for Richmond rather, Lambert and Knights each have 1. Another report, Smith has just been reported for hitting Steins.
That's Craig Smith of Richmond.
That's correct.
Thank you, Phil. Repeating at quarter time, the Saints 5-2-32 lead the Kangaroos 4-4-28 by 4 points. We'll be back with our quarter-time summary in just a minute. The time now for ABC News headlines. Phil, any more reports on the board at the G?
No, not at the moment, but there's some more confusing umpire decisions. I can tell you that now.
Stan and Crackers now on the first quarter. The Saints 5-2, the Kangaroos 4-4. Stanley.
Well, there's 4 points in it on the scoreboard, but I think as far as a contest goes, it is very, very even. It is a line ball. North started much the sharper. Their crummers were terrific. The small blokes around the pack, Steele, Romero, and that were doing extremely well. Breaking into attack, and German, and just appeared to have too much pace. And if it wasn't early for the sterling efforts of David Grant and Russell Morris in the back line, I thought they might have been in awful trouble. That about halfway through that quarter, I thought St Kilda steadied, and they started to get some really good service from Nicky Winmar, Gil McAdam. Harvey started to come in a bit, and Burke started to tighten up, and all of a sudden they started to come back into the game, and I thought they had more use of the ball. A big plus, though, for North was that even though St Kilda had a lot of the use of the ball and were going into the forward line continuously, the big guns in Lowe and Lockett were held. It's not that their players were doing extremely well on them individually as far as stats go, but they were playing a man-to-man, and Martin and Fairley were just contesting every issue, and those 2 big players who St Kilda looked to couldn't get into it. St Kilda got, I thought,
with a benefit of people becoming Lockett and a low conscious. And as we saw with Coughlin, every time they got the ball, they thought they were going to kick to these players, and Frankie Coughlin made the most of it and just got out by himself. And I think Delina had the indignity of being dragged because he was too slack on him. But I think the game is wide open. I really did think when St Kilda looked as if they were getting on the last few minutes, the way that North were able to break out that centre line, and Allison and the likes of Longmire up there, if St Kilda on-ballers can't tighten up better, I think there's some easy goals going to come forth for North Melbourne. But at this stage, Cracker's line ball to me.
Yeah, same to me, Stan, but it just might be a little bit of a problem for St Kilda. They might be a bit top-heavy. Look at Kingston down in the forward line, but Lockett's got to get some goals in this quarter so he can really put the pressure on. But, gee, it's a great contest.
North Melbourne 6 free kicks, St Kilda 5, Grant 12 possessions, Winmar 9, 7 each to Coughlin and Harvey. And for North Smith with 9, Swass, German and Ramiro with 6. The Rucks, St Kilda winning 6-6. No, sorry, level 6-6. St Kilda outmarking North by 17-11, and of those possessions out of the centre, North Melbourne 5, St Kilda 5. 2 goals to McAdam and Coughlin, 1 to Lockett, 2 to Longmire, Allison for North Melbourne. Now from the ball up, hard to tell who won that one, Jack. The ball comes down, kicked off the ground by Stevens, across towards the adoring St Kilda fans. Where it's picked up by Winmar. Winmar down towards Lowe with the kick. Kitski is there as well, but Lowe, despite Kitski, outmarks him. 55 metres out from goal, just near the visitors' race here. Drop punts, squaring kick, set up for Lockett, who is being held, I thought, there for the moment. I don't know. Stevens was held with the ball, but got the kick away. Staritsky kicks out on the full. Yes, he does. And it's going to be Stewie Lowe's free kick. This time he's inside 50. He'll kick towards the front of the goal square. Yeah, well, he missed kicks. It's going to land about 20 metres out from goal. Off the pack, Harvey. High snap. Lockett underneath it. Oh, Martin does well to punch the ball away. McAdam grabbed by Swass. Oh, in goes McDonald. McAdam saw him coming and went to terra firma and did it pretty well. Staricci's hand pass to Swass. Swass hand pass to Larkin. And Larkin kicks North Melbourne momentarily out of trouble.
Where Smith tries to spoil, he does so effectively, but Grant runs onto it for the Saints. He's under pressure as he kicks. It's very high towards Lowe, who almost takes a very good mark. Couldn't quite hang on. He might have completed it after crossing the boundary line. And the ruling under those circumstances is throw it in. And that's what the boundary umpire is going to do. Fairly and Lowe. Lowe is becoming a very important player. It falls to Steele. Kicks back to midfield for North. McCarthy, a couple of grabs, couldn't hang on. Picked up by Big Harris, who's been good since coming on. Goes to McDonald, who marks on his chest just outside 50. Now Longmire starts to lead. McDonald doesn't go in that direction. He goes long towards Allison, and Rice one out in the square. Rice always had his man covered and make sure it is off their hands and through for a behind. The Kangaroos 4-5-29. The Saints 5-2-32 with 2 minutes into the second term.
Kick in by Frawley, a short one to Rice, who marks, kicks outside 50, looking for Coughlin. One grab, but not the second. In fact, a free kick is being paid to Larkin against Coughlin for a push. Larkin goes short to McDonald, who marks 40 metres out from goal. But he's on the non-attacking side. He will need to kick very much to the right and let the breeze drag it back in. It's coming from the east-southeast, virtually across the ground, and it's fairly stiff. St Kilda 5-2, North Melbourne 4-5. We've played 2 3/4 minutes in the second quarter. The Saints led by 4 points at quarter time. McDonald is taking an eternity to kick this, or to line up. Plenty of concentration. Let's see if it was all worth it. Oh, no, it's a shocking kick. He's hooked it badly and through for a behind. North Melbourne 4-6. They trail St Kilda by 2 points. The Saints 5-2. David at Princes Park.
Great turnaround here by Geelong. They lead by 8 points after 14 minutes. Geelong 6-5-41. Lead Hawthorn 5-3-33. Phil Pennell.
Melbourne by a point, 11.5 minutes into the second quarter. 4-4-28 to Richmond 4-3-27. And Cuthbertson's just made it 7 points in advance for Melbourne.
Frawley puts it back into play here after that Kangaroo behind, and Harding takes a very good mark in front of the members who loved it. He kicks towards the wing. Lowe has 2 against him. McCarthy up from half forward there to spoil. At the front, Larkin fights for the ball, but nowhere to go for the North Melbourne skipper, and takes it over the boundary line for a throw-in on the wing. This quarter beginning as the first one did, but it certainly didn't end that way. It's tight. And purposeful attacks are difficult to come by at the moment. Now Harding brings it down to Craven at the front. He swings St Kilda into attack, but it's marked by Scholl on the half-back flank for North Melbourne. Staritsky, rather. Kicks back towards the wing. Has hugged the boundary line and not made it easy for Larkin, who makes a contest of it, but it's picked up by Winmar. Hand pass to Harding. A left-hander onto Harvey, who's under pressure. Goes backwards to Newport, who's in the clear. Puts St Kilda into attack. Up the half forward. Kitchke up. Plenty of spoilers. At the fall, North Melbourne in control. Scholl balances and kicks with the left boot, but not well. Straight to Pekin, who marks in midfield for the Saints.
Plays on with a hand pass to Winmar, who kicks towards Hilton. The ball punched away by Chandler, who clears the ball across the half-back line towards the eastern side of the ground. Ramiro and Burke. Burke does well. Fends Ramiro off, paddles the ball to give him a bit of space, give himself a bit of space, then delivers poorly towards the forward pocket. And the ball on the bounce, luckily for Burke, and there'll be a boundary throw-in. Left forward pocket about 35 metres out from goal at the highway in goal. The Saints kicking and deep into attack. Boundary throw in. Lowe takes the ball out of the air, squeezes the ball through the pack. It comes down towards Craven. Chandler is there and he paddles the ball over right next to the behind post. And you may have picked up the effects of the St Kilda supporters yelling for a free kick. So the Saints working the ball closer towards goal. Fairley and Lowe in ruck. Lowe back position, flicks it down towards Newport, who knocks the ball out the back to, but unfortunately Steele picks it up.
Fight behind
play. Steele's hand pass to Larkin. He in turn to Crocker. Crocker kicks up towards Allison. But Rice does well, knocks the ball away from Allison and wheels onto his right foot. He's under pressure though, Rice, but does get a foot pass up towards Harding, who's under tremendous pressure, and does very well to knock the ball. He was outnumbered 2-1 to Morris, who kicks towards half forward. Spoil Feely on low. The ball in front of the pack to Steele. Handball across to Stevens. It's a high one. Swass knocks it on. Out towards German. The 229s go to ground, and I look back on play and Swass has hurt himself too, but he's okay. Hovering over the ball is Craven. Knocks the ball out of the pack, and it's taken there by German. Handball across to Stevens. Stevens kicked towards centre half forward. It's on the bounce there. Was McDonald held? I don't know. The ball comes to McCarthy at centre half forward. Hand pass to McDonald. Couldn't accept it. Kick off the ground by Morris, well outside 50. The Saints have the numbers. Picked up by Newport. Good shepherding by Morris behind play. Newport's kick is a shocker, and it's been marked by German out on the eastern wing.
Puts North into attack. The arm wrestle is on again towards Longmire, who helps it on its way to Allison at the back. He sweeps the hand pass to Larkin, traps the bouncing ball, but beautifully tackled and put out of business by Jeffrey. In goes Larkin again, a hand pass to Stevens. Snaps with the left boot, but under pressure, and puts it out on the full. A St Kilda free kick, and scores are very hard to come by. We've played 7 minutes in this quarter. The Kangaroos have scored a couple of behinds and the Saints haven't managed anything as Rice puts the ball back into play. Harding is target, but McCarthy rises majestically and takes the mark. Saints fans not happy, but he just did enough, just held it long enough, I think. He's 60 metres out.
Goes short, a lead there, and it's been cut off by Jeffrey. Or Larkin grabbed without the ball. No free kick. It's allowed to play on, and there'll be a ball up. Left forward pocket. About 45 metres out from North's goal. And it looks like Steele asking the question of the field umpire, Grant Vernon. Left half forward flank. North into attack at the South Road goal. Umpire throws it up. Grant just knocks it down and he kicks the ball off the ground, and luckily for him finds Harding at half-back. The Saints coming around the members area. Missed kick by Harding. And Coughlin behind, almost gets it to the back. He does of Stevens, gives away the free kick. Stevens wide of centre. Now Longmire saying kick it high and kick it out towards centre half forward. That's what he's done. Up goes McDonald. One grab, but not the second. Close to the pack, or close to the ground, is picked up by Nathan Burke. Kicks up towards the half-back line. North Melbourne player who went for the mark and couldn't mark it. Steele says he tried to knock it out and couldn't, and Craven's got the free kick.
Well, you couldn't say he dived on that ball. He dived to try and take a mark. Craven kicks out to the wing, it beats the pack and bounces over the line. Comment, Stanley?
Well, a man's gone for the mark, and I believe it was a chance he marked it, and he's turned to the umpire to say, have I marked it? The umpire said, I'm hot giving against you holding the ball.
Yep, crazy. Lunacy. At the throw in, it comes to the back of the pack, and there's a free kick St Kilda's way again. And it goes to Harding just behind the wing. We've played 8.5. Quickly around the grounds, David Mackay.
Top-class game here. Geelong back in front by 6 points at the 18-minute mark. Geelong 7-5-47 lead. Hawthorn 6-5-41. Phil Pennell.
Yes, it's also a goal of difference here, but we've got a scrappy game. Melbourne 5-4-34 lead. Richmond 4-4-28, 17 minutes in.
Harding put the Saints into attack. North repelled that attack, and Harding has marked again in much the same spot as he did just before we went around the grounds. So with the left boot, he puts them into attack again. Low comes from the side. Couldn't get into the marking contest. At the forward, Coghlan. Inside 50 for Lockett. Got it. 30 metres out. 45-degree angle. Lovely bit of play by Coghlan, who might have been tempted from inside 50. Couple of goals under his belt to go for the glory. But he went for his champion full forward instead. Ralph Smith coming on for the Saints. Jeffrey off. As Lockett lines up for his second. McAdam and Coghlan have each kicked 2, and Lockett has kicked 1. Not a goal kicked in almost 10 minutes in this quarter. Lockett takes a long time. He always looks purposeful, methodical, and comes in and kicks the goal and puts it through. What a brilliant converter he is. And the Saints skip to an 8-point lead, 6-2-38. The Kangaroos 4-6-30 at the 10-minute mark.
Yes, and it's been a bit of an arm struggle for those 10 minutes, but I just can't help but think that St Kilda really have got this forward set up totally wrong. And that's illustrated then. They've got Kitski in a forward pocket. All he's doing is just contesting with either Lowe or with Lockett. And that time we had Coghlan's had to come right down and played the role that you'd expect of a forward pocket, and that is a crummer. And so it's the first time St Kilda's had a small man in that zone. He's crumbed the ball, picked up and passed to Lockett. They really have got this forward line set up. It is just too predictable, the Lowe Lockett situation. They've got to get smaller running players, especially. They've got to shuffle their side around a bit. But this game is still wide open, and North have had a couple of chances, and it just shows you how when a player such as Lockett gets it and he converts it, he is able to turn the tide.
From the centre bounce, the ball knocked down by Harding, further knock on by Harvey, but it's picked up there by North Melbourne, and it was Scholl who kicks the ball up towards the half-forward line. Rice hovering over the pack. The ball comes down towards Morris, who does well. Clears the ball up towards half-forward, but Fairley there takes a good mark at centre half-back. In fact, between centre and centre half-back for North Melbourne.
Fairly good mark anyway.
It was a fairly good mark. Handball across to Crocker. Crocker's kick out towards the members' wing for St Kilda. Larkin was there. I thought may have got into the back of a St Kilda player, but the ball, after being in dispute, is eventually worked over for a throw-in. St Kilda 6-2-38. North Melbourne 4-6-30. The Saints by 8 points. Boundary throw-in. Gallagher knocks it down, picked up by Stevens. High floating kick up towards the half-forward line. Ramiro waits for the crumbs because the spoil came from Morris, who's doing pretty well. And the ball is over again for a throw-in. Almost on the wing, maybe North just marginally into attack. St Kilda 6-2, North Melbourne 4-4 after the Saints led by 4 points at quarter time. Boundary throw-in, Gallagher knocks it down, but there was no one yesterday. Larkin is there, weaves his way through with his hand pass to Stevens. In turn gives it to Steele. Steele kicks the ball in towards the forward pocket. Longmire is there, but the ball trickles over for a boundary throw-in.
Kangaroos deep in attack. 12 minutes into the term. And North needing a goal as the Saints have got to an 8-point lead at the throw-in. Gallagher versus Harding. Gallagher with the rear position has the advantage here from a high throw-in, deep one. Couldn't win the ball, but it comes to Larkin, who weaves his way clear. Has a look at the sticks, goes for them, and has clipped the post. It was a good try. Couldn't have been any closer. North 4-7. St Kilda 6-2, the margin 7 points. Crackers, a quick one.
Well, they're just pushing forward. They're a little bit like North Melbourne, a little bit like St Kilda on their forward setup, where Donald McDonald is sort of taking the room from Longmire, and he can't lead.
Frawley goes to Grant and Russell Morris. Neither could mark. At the fall, Steele tackled, dispossessed. Morris a hand pass to Winmar. His hand pass smothered. He gets it back, does well. Gets it on to Coghlan, a fine player. Shrugs one tackle, floats it back towards Winmar. Winmar makes it good. Gives a hand pass to the running Craven. Stolen from him by teammate Harvey. Back to Winmar. Now to Craven. Inside 50. Has a look. Pumps the hand pass over to Kitski. 20 out. Goes for goal and has missed it, and Lockett watched Martin run towards Kitchke and called for the hand pass, which didn't come, and he puts his hands to his head. Stanley, should it have come?
Should it have come? You've got to be kidding. He's running. He's a big man. He's on about a 45-degree angle. Lockett standing in the square. I mean, if I was the coach, I'd be having a nice old message to Kitchke.
6-3-39 to 4-7-31. Crocker puts it into play. Goes for Gallagher. Lowe comes from behind and outmarks him in splendid fashion. A chip pass over the top to Kitchke, who's still out there, and he's taken the mark at the 50. I bet he goes for Lockett. He kicks quickly towards Lockett, who sets himself for the mark. Can't do so. Hilton at the ball, and it's a goal. Jeff Hilton, in only his second game, gives the Saints a 14-point lead, their biggest margin in the match so far. They're 7-3-45. The Kangaroos 4-7-31. Checking other scores, David Mackay at Princes Park.
Hawthorn by 1 point at the 25-minute mark. Hawthorn 7-8-49. Lead Geelong 7-6-48. Sorry, it's a 2-point lead now. 7-8-50 to Geelong 7-6-48. Phil Pennell.
We've played 23 minutes and the scores are level. Melbourne 5-6, Richmond 5-6.
Back here at Moorabbin, Harding's got the free kick from the centre bounce. Now he's in the centre and he kicks up towards 50. Harvey is there, gets a bit of a nudge out, but the mark is paid to Sturicki at centre half back. St Kilda 7-3, North Melbourne 4-7. The kick by Sturicki out wide where it's been marked by Gallagher in front of Harding. Unloads a hand pass to German. He's on the wing. Kicks up towards the right half forward line. Morris went up but didn't come down with the ball. Allison emerges in that right forward pocket. Kicks in towards goal and has hit the post. Behind by Brett Allison. We've played just over 15 minutes in the second term here at Moorabbin. Overcast day, ground heavy, but conditions okay. St Kilda 7-3, North Melbourne 4-8.
Two posters by North. Their last two scoring shots, Larkin and Allison. Frawley puts it back into play for Harding, who marks well. Gallagher late to arrive. Just a little slow to get to the contest. And Harding took it well. Fourth mark for the quarter to Paul Harding. He chips a wide pass straight to Pekin, who runs to the wing, touches down once, and then pumps the Saints into attack. And Crocker takes a very good mark, though, for North Melbourne. Across half-back. Kangaroos badly needing a goal. They haven't kicked one in 16 minutes in this quarter, and Jack Cameron doesn't like the trend of play. Kick towards the wing where the ball falls to Steele, who knocks on well to Smith. Takes a bit of time picking it up, gets it on to German. Over the top to McCarthy. A lead from McDonald. He's put out of the contest. No free kick. Ralph Smith cannoned into him, but no free paid. In goes Longmire, wins the ball. Weaves his way clear, does very well. Banana kick at goal right across the base, out on the full. North can do no right around goal. And they stay on 4-8-32. The Saints 7-3-45, approaching 17 minutes in this term.
And the free kick going to Grant of St Kilda in the South Road back pocket. Kicks around the wing. Up goes Morris again, but comes down again without the ball. It's still in dispute, but it's taken there by Stevens. Runs a fair way. In fact, he ran too far. He travelled too far. Free kick St Kilda to be taken by Newport at centre half back. The Saints by 12 points here at Moorabbin. Kick by Newport. Scholl is there. Oh, that's a very good mark by Scholl. Pushing it back to Lowe. Pushing it back to Lowe, was it? So it was against Fairley because Scholl went for the mark and they were 2-on-1 and they infringed and needn't have. Kick by Lowe to Pekin. Spoil late from Larkin, who goes to ground from the push. Will take the free kick. Just near the St Kilda race. St Kilda 7-3, North Melbourne 4-8. Football on 3LO on network stations of Melbourne's #1 football station 3LO. The kick by Larkin from half-back up towards the wing where a good mark is taken by Stewie Lowe. I just saw the hands come over the back. Didn't know who it was. I saw the hands and thought, yeah, that's Stewie Lowe. Kicks the ball towards Kitchke, who's outnumbered. Spoiled behind by Crocker. Crocker sockers the ball off the ground up towards the wing. Oh, almost a open-handed scoop there by Gallagher to Larkin. Larkin gives it back to a North Melbourne player who's tackled pretty high. It looks like Stevens again. And Stevens has got the free kick on the wing. St Kilda 7-3, North Melbourne 4-8. And we've played 18 and a quarter minutes in the second term. Kick by Stevens, up towards half forward. Up goes Grant, can't mark. Well, it's being paid. The mark paid. He gives a handball away to Harvey running past. He's on 50. Oh, his kicks a shocker into the centre. It's marked by Swass. It was meant for Burke, but it just dropped a bit short, and Swass is marked in the centre of the ground.
Had a quiet quarter. He kicks up to half forward. High ball for McDonald, who arrives late, and Grant again in front. What a lovely pair of hands he has. At centre half back, how many's he taken, Jack? 5 for the day. Kicks out to the wing. No one can mark. Saints have got men at the fall of the ball. Winmar runs onto it. Just inside the boundary line. Chips it along the wing towards half forward, but doesn't keep the ball in play. Might have made a bit more of that, but he was looking to set something up and felt that was his best bet. And a throw in now between wing and half forward flank. Saints in attack and leading on the board by 13 points, 45 to 32. Crocker with the left hand brings it down, but the Kangaroos can't do any business. Picked up by Craven, who backs his way out of a tackle, and with the left boot goes towards Lowe, who's got fairly covered, can't quite hold the mark. Support from McAdam. Sockers into the forward pocket to Hilton. Over the ball, falls. Crowd got a push in the back, it's not paid. In goes McAdam. He's tackled and will be penalised. With that one, I find myself in agreement. He went in over the ball and did nothing about getting it out. A free kick to be taken by Scholl in the last line of defence. Almost 20 minutes in. He kicks to half-back. Crocker front position, runs under the ball but might get a free. Gallagher will, in fact. He was being tampered with over the shoulder. Gallagher's ball between half-back flank and wing for North Melbourne. 20 minutes in, still the Saints by 13 points.
Kick by Gallagher from the half-back line up towards the wing position, and it's Harding, unopposed by North Melbourne players, who takes the mark in front of the Huggins stand, or just down from that, almost on the wing here at Moorabbin. St Kilda 7-3, North 4-8. The kick now by Harding towards half forward, low up, and he had 2 to beat. The ball spills behind to Fairley. Fairley's hand pass to Staritsky. He in turn to Crocker. Crocker runs up towards half-back flank, kicks the ball back in towards the centre. Knocked down by Rice. Knock on by Ross Smith. A chance here for McCarthy. He's picked it up. He's dragged down from behind by Burke. Good defensive work by the Saints. The ball in dispute 40 metres out from North Melbourne's goal. Attempted soccer by Ross Smith. Picked up by Frawley, who clears the ball out wide. Trapped by Newport. Handball across to Craven. Craven looking for Coughlin. It beats him. Picked up by Crocker. Good tackle by Lowe. The ball comes to ground. Crocker knocks the ball out to Larkin. Larkin's hand pass to Steele. Harvey late. Steele's kick is not a good one because of Harvey being late. Harvey goes in where Angel's feared a tread, and he almost got the ball out. Picked up by Steele. Steele's hand pass goes to no one. Picked up by Pekin eventually. Handball back towards Harvey. Oh, it's tough out there. Loose hand pass comes to German. Kicks the hand pass just in play to Ramiro. Ramiro's kick has been taken by Ralph Smith from half-back. The ball on the wing, picked up by Staritsky, kicks it towards the half-forward line, and McDonald is marked for North Melbourne, about 70 metres out from goal. He's going out towards that eastern pocket, the attacking side. Kicks it long, in towards half-forward, off the pack. The ball shoveled out by St Kilda, and it's taken eventually by Rice out to Burke, and Burke clears the ball away.
Out to vacant space on the wing, and that's Johnny Beckwith, I think, Stanley. Wasn't a bad kick out of defence. He had no one to go to, and he just kicked it just hard enough and just soft enough to carry to the boundary line after about 4 or 5 bounces and a couple of scrubs. At the throw in, Smith roves it for North Melbourne, swings towards Steele in the pocket, and he takes the mark, I think, just inside the line. He has done so. Now, he's about 35 from goal, but right on the boundary line. Hard up against it. And he's in the right forward pocket, so it is about as difficult a shot as they come. However, he does have the wind virtually right at his back, and at least from that angle it's not such a problem. In he comes. Kangaroos badly needing one. He kicks at goal. It's across the face. No one able to mark it. Harding comes down with the ball. Hand pass to Frawley in the square. He gives it off to Morris, and you can almost hear the sigh of relief as the Saints come clear. Morris out to half-back, and Johnny Beck was like that one too, because it was almost out on the full, but dropped virtually on the line, and then over for a throw-in between the wing and the Kangaroos' left half-forward flank. The Roos still without a goal in this quarter, and we're 23 minutes in. The Saints have edged to a 13-point lead. At the throw-in, Gallagher gets the knock down to Smith. His hand pass stolen, though, by Winmar. Kicks back towards the wing and beyond. Kitchke runs onto it. The big fellow does well. Gets clear, kicks up to half forward, but it bounces over the line for a throw-in. Quickly checking the other scores. David Mackay at Princes Park.
Half-time at Princes Park. It's a 5-point lead to Geelong. They lead 8-8-56 to Hawthorn 7-9-51. Phil Pennell.
Half-time at MCG also, and Richmond lead by 9 points. 6-9-45, Melbourne 5-6-36.
Throw in on the half-forward flank for the Saints. We're at the 23.5-minute mark. Crocker tries to take it out of the air. Can't do so. Contest at ground level. Won by Larkin. Kicks back to the centre. Front position, Gallagher. Harding almost outmarks him for his 6th of the quarter. Swooped upon for St Kilda by Pekin. Kicks to low. Couldn't quite take the mark. Stevens paddles to Larkin. Onto Smith. And a floating hand pass onto German, who runs a long way. Then touches down. Didn't know where to go. He's brought down as he kicks. But Schwass swoops on the ball. In the centre for the Kangaroos. Up towards Longmire at half forward. At the fall of the ball, the Kangaroos a chance for a moment. Ramiro has it now. Tackle brought down. Dispossessed. Picked up by Grant. Works his way clear. Switches play to the members' side of the ground to Harding. Harding and Gallagher, the big men, run after it, but it's out over the boundary line for a throw-in. Crackers, the Kangaroos cannot take a mark up forward.
No, they've just, Longmire just been absolutely whitewashed, and McDonald's not there, McCarthy's down, and they're really playing bottled-up football, St Kilda.
Gallagher and Harding in ruck. Gallagher beautifully brings it down to Staritsky at the front. He swings it towards full forward, but Craven under a high curling ball. Does well to read it, does well to wait there, but not be intimidated, and does very well to mark it on his chest when it finally comes down. He kicks out to half-back, where Winmar flies but can't mark. At the fall is Allison. On the left boot, 55 out. A low pass. Don't know who it was meant for, but it certainly didn't find a target. In goes Ramiro. He's sandwiched between a couple of tacklers. And umpire Vernon comes in and will ball up in North Melbourne's left forward pocket. We've edged into time on, and still the Kangaroos only have 4 behinds for the quarter and trail 32-45.
There's the ball up, knocked down by Gallagher, and Ramiro streaming into an open goal. The ball is coming back. Harding's free kick, and it must have been a ruck infringement against Gallagher for that ball up, or at that ball up. St Kilda 7-3, North Melbourne 4-8. The Saints by 13 points. Hasn't been a change in the score for such a long time. Fairley punches the ball away, picked up there by Pekin, who kicks up towards the wing and beats Coughlin and also Stevens over for a boundary throw-in. In the time on ball, almost a minute here at Moorabbin. Boundary throw-in. Knocked down by Lowe, I think it was, behind the pack to Coughlin. Coughlin shovels a hand pass to McAdam. It doesn't find its mark. Schwass has grabbed over the shoulder. Schwass has got the free kick on the half-back flank. The light getting fairly dim here at Moorabbin too, and it's not even half-time yet. Kicked by Schwass up over the centre, and it's a St Kilda mark. And Pekin takes the mark, handball across to Harvey. Harvey goes long, one out. Lockett and Martin. Lockett knocks the ball in front of him. Oh, he's going to get a free kick for being held, and I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. 35 metres out. Martin's gone off the planet, and so he should. Oh, Martin is arguing vehemently with the field umpire. Lockett's got the free kick right in front of goal. Admittedly, he's about 35 metres out. I thought they both had their hands in the air trying to mark, although Lockett had the front position. So, the umpire could have been right to some degree, but it didn't look blatant, and we are side on with a perfect view. The big fellow's got the free kick. He's kicked 3. Oh, Martin's going spazzo on the mark, and Lockett's put it through. And Martin, he might get recorded in a moment if he keeps that up. That verbal abuse to the field umpire, and Martin is not very impressed. Lockett gets his 4th, and the Saints scoot away now. They're 8-3-51 to North Melbourne 4-8-32. David Mackay at Princes Park.
It's half-time here, a 5-point lead here to Geelong 8-8-56, Hawthorn 7-9-51. Phil Pennell.
Yes, it's half-time at MCG also, and Richmond lead by 9 points, 6-9-45, Melbourne 5-6-36.
What a crucial goal. It won't be a long quarter. The Saints have kicked the only goals of this term, 3 of them now. from the ball up. They're in possession, but North in fact gaining meterage with pressure. Ball back in the centre circle. Schwass has it. Kicks North into attack. Romero and Grant pursue it out towards the boundary line on the left flank. Great tackle by Grant. Wins a free kick. Inspiring stuff. Romero had the pace. He had the front position in the chase after the ball, and Grant brought him to earth with a perfect tackle. Takes it on the half-back flank, kicks back to the wing, low and Fairley. Low influential in this quarter, but Fairley a good spoil down to German, who kicks it towards McDonald at half-forward. It doesn't carry with the window, and in front Dean Rice takes the mark on the defensive 50. But St Kilda reading the conditions better, it seems to me. There's the siren. So, a wonderful quarter for the Saints. I said they kicked 3. They kicked 4 goals. 3 goals won. The Kangaroos kicked only 4 behinds. And at half-time, the Saints 8-3-51, leading the Kangaroos 4-8-32 by 19 points. And that is the biggest break in the game so far, and a very handy lead. Lockett has 3. McAdam and Coghlan have 2 each. And Hilton has 1. Well, I thought the umpires might have been a bit more popular than that down here. Perhaps that's a vocal North Melbourne section of the crowd joining forces with Michael Martin. For the Kangaroos, Longmire has 2. German and Allison 1 goal apiece. St Kilda 8-3-51, leading North 4-8-32 by 19 points. At the other grounds, Geelong 5 points ahead of Hawthorn, and Richmond 9 points ahead of Melbourne at halfway. We'll be going to David and Phil for goal kickers shortly, but right now time to go to the ABC newsroom for headlines. So the Saints have done very well with 8-2 since then. It's half-time at the other venues. Out to Princes Park now. Summarised at half-time at Moorabbin. The Saints 8-3-51, the Kangaroos 4-8-32.
Thank you, Tim. Well, the first quarter was very even contest. Only a couple of points in it, but in general play, I thought that there was nothing in it. However, North came out at the start of that second quarter and they looked very sharp again. Their smaller players looked good, and Donald McDonald led out on a couple of occasions and took some shots, but they were wasteful and they missed a couple of shots, and it just seemed to take a little bit of the sting out of them, because they were doing extremely well, but they couldn't get the score on the board. And then all of a sudden St Kilda started to get ascendancy, and I thought Harding started to really take over, not only in the actual ruck work but his marking, and he started to take right away from Gallagher. Morris and David Grant were doing extremely well on the back line, and a big plus came over the game from St Kilda's point of view, where I thought Stuart Lowe started to do very well at centre half forward and get his hands around the ball and become a focal point. And for about the next 20 minutes of that second quarter, I thought it really was all St Kilda. They were winning it all round the ground. Their on-ballers were doing well. I thought North only had a few players who were helping out there. Starisky was doing well. Larkin was trying his heart out, but every time they got the ball and got it up to that into their forward line, it just was repulsed so easily. It came back, and didn't matter who they kicked it to, he just seemed to be knocked off, and Longmire and couldn't get into the play. And I think it was right, as Peter Keenan might have called. I think he was getting a little bit frustrated, because when he started to make his leads, Donald McDonald was running in front of him, and as a result he was ended up only about 10 or 15 metres out from goals, when in a day like today you really need Johnny Longmire coming out 30 and 40 metres, because he's such a terrific lead, but he just didn't get the opportunities, and St Kilda well on top there. I think that St Kilda made a pretty poor effort, though, with their forward efforts. It was just the fact that they had so much use of the ball, and the likes of Pekin and their smaller players in Craven, Newport getting lots of uses of the ball. Winmar was doing extremely well for them, and Coghlan. But when they got up over their half-forward line, they were really bogged down, and I think that the reason they were bogged down, they were just too top-heavy. They made a mistake because the wind was blowing towards the grandstand side, and they elected to play Kitsky, the big man, in this pocket. And of course Stewie Lowe was coming over here, and he was flying for the ball, and so you had virtually Kitsky and Lowe flying, and when it was knocked to the ground, the smaller North players were able to run it out. And it wasn't probably until about the last 5 or 6 minutes of the quarter that finally St Kilda made the switch, and they brought their smaller player over to here, and it started to give them a bit of run on, because the real key that broke the game up for them was the smaller play of Craven, and also Coughlin and even young Hilton when he snapped a goal down. An interesting thing I thought when I look back at this game, because it's played pretty intensely, and St Kilda started to get away bit by bit because they were dominating the game. I thought the key point was I had a look at a lot of the players, and I think this ground is very heavy on their legs, and a lot of players are starting to run up and down on the spot. It's going to be a very, very difficult contest. A 19-point lead in these conditions is a big lead. From North's point of view, they really have to come out and have a big third quarter and get back into this game, because if St Kilda was to get another 1 or 2 goals on top of that 19-point, it would be very, very difficult in these conditions to get back.
Well, I almost agree with you, Stan. I just keep on thinking that every time I watch North Melbourne, and I watched them a few times this year, and especially against the Eagles, not the Crows, they just fight everything out. And I've just got a feeling they might be able to fight back. And they hit the post twice in that quarter, which was, really puts them up top next to it. There's only one problem with North Melbourne at the moment. John Longmire has kicked 2 goals, but he hasn't really earned a goal yet. He's got one over the top, and another one was a free kick that could have been doubtful, but it was there. But he hasn't taken a mark to ensure that he'd kick a goal. Lockett up the other end has been an interesting duel. I see poor old Michael Martin wanting to vent his anger at the umpire, but he didn't want to vent his anger on Tony. He decided that he didn't have to talk to Tony about the anger. I'm glad he did that too, because he's a nice kid. We don't want to see Mark for life. But interesting game. Better players, I suppose, when you look at North Melbourne. Crockett's playing quite well. Larkin's there. Scholl's there. He's a bit loose, Scholl, but he takes a couple of good marks. German fades in and out of the game, and Staritsky's going all right for North. And first quarter, Gallagher was there, but Romero dived out of the game pretty quickly. Harding, since he's come on, has been playing the kick behind play, the big man's kick behind play, playing very, very well. Frankie Coughlin's pretty elusive. Where Winmar gets the ball a bit, Grant's playing very well down there, and Lowe's taking the marks in the half-forward line and carving up fairly. It's Larkin has been picked up by Newport, and he broke the tag in that quarter and got away from Newport. Newport really hasn't had much of an influence on this game, and Larkin's really started to play off him a bit. It'll be the last man standing. I believe that North can get back into this game. They both didn't play the right side of the ground because of the wind situation, and I can't work out the Kenny Sheldon set up in the forward line. You've got to get the crummers in there. Young Hilton kicked a goal. Do you know why? Because he's a crummer. He jumped down and got the ball. You can't have crummers like Kinski, who's as big as me and can't bend down. You've got to put him into the ruck or put him on the bench, and it's called going in top heavy, and they've made a mistake, and that's their problem. North Melbourne have got a similar problem down there. McDonald and Longmire seem to be running into each other, and McCarthy's not having a good day, but this game is not over. I know it's just started to rain a bit and the wind's blowing, but I still believe that North Melbourne have got a fair bit of run in their legs, and I just get this feeling they're probably a little bit fitter than the St Kilda.
The Saints by 19 points at half-time. St Kilda 8-3-51, getting dark. North Melbourne 4-8-32. I'm getting old, I think. Now for St Kilda, Grant, 19 possessions, 15 kicks. Craven's had 13 possessions. Winmar has had 17. Morris 10 possessions. Harding 10 and Harvey 10. And it's interesting to look at the marking power of St Kilda. Grant's taken 5. Winmar 3, Morris 3 and Harding 5. And you look at the North Melbourne column, and no one's in double figures there, or no one has taken any more than just 1 mark. Smith, 13 possessions. Larkin, German and Swass, 12 each. Steele, 11. The first possession's out of the centre. It's 7 all. The marking overall from Jack Cameron. St Kilda 35 marks to North Melbourne 23. Rucks, St Kilda 13 to North Melbourne 9. And the free kicks, North Melbourne 13 to St Kilda 12. And just talking about the rucks, digressing just for a moment, Tim and Stan, that ruck work by Scotty Wind with 12 seconds to go was sensational to win that game for Footscray on Saturday. He wasn't to know there was only 10 seconds to go, but he knew that the Swans Tunbridge were going to knock the ball towards the boundary again. He ran to the front of the pack and he caught it sweetly on his wrist, or on his fist, and straight down the throat of McPherson, which saved the game, or saved half the game for them.
I'd be just to ask Crackers here, because I reckon if you said to a player now, in these circumstances, this is what you would do, was the perfect execution of what was required at that point of time. Would I be right, Pete?
Yes, look, one thing about Scott Wind, he's now started to come of age as a ruckman. He is really starting, and on Saturday, the way he played his game, very intelligent for a big bloke. A big bloke can play the mud, you know. Everybody's just this fallacy about the whole situation, a big bloke can't play in the mud. You get a big bloke, puts his body behind the ball, gets his body in line with the ball, they can play the mud as well as anybody else.
And wasn't it a treat to see, because the conditions are a bit slippery and they didn't do all that little run round the back and handball, he went back and kicked. And if he didn't kick 1.5 times as far as the blokes he normally handballs to, I'll go he. And got it down quick and just as better, and was particular, and I thought he was terrific.
Half-time at Moorabbin, the Saints 8-3 leading the Kangaroos 4-8 by 19 points. At the other grounds, they mightn't be too far away from a start.
Howard has just kicked a goal for Melbourne, and they now trail by 4 points. Richmond is 6-10-46 and Melbourne is 6-6-42.
Third term underway here at Moorabbin. From the centre bounce, Nigel Ruckman got the knockdown. It comes out of the pack, taken by Staritsky, kicks up towards centre half forward. On the bounce, a good favourable bounce for Rice, who kicks the ball across the half back line to the eastern side, where it beats Winmar and Chandler over for a boundary throw-in. It's getting quite dim here at Moorabbin. St Kilda 8-3, Melbourne 4-8. Brian Joyce was just telling me he feels there might be some bad weather coming in. Well, the team with an advantage of 3 goals would be certainly favoured from the throw-in, taken by Coughlin. Kicks the ball up towards the wing. It's picked up by Scholes. Scholes' kick doesn't travel too far. It's on the bounce to Ross Smith, running the wrong way. Gives the hand pass to Swass. It's a bad hand pass. Swass is in the centre. Handballs to Staritsky running down the ground. Kicks it towards centre half forward. Up goes McCarthy, but he had 2 to beat. Ramiro gets out of a high tackle. Handball across to McCarthy. A left foot kicking towards goal to Allison, who dropped a sitter. Well, I'm saying a sitter. It's one that a little fellow like that just should take. They seem to take those little freakish ones that slip through the pack and land on their lap, and that one certainly did, but it went through and it's a behind. So it's St Kilda 8-3, North Melbourne 4-9.
And Frawley puts the ball out of bounds with the kick in, a free kick to North to be taken by Schwass outside 50. North can't buy a goal. Perhaps Allison might have shepherded that one, although it was just battling to carry. Awkward decision for him. Now Schwass, a left footer, kicks to full forward. McCarthy up, can't take the mark, fights on at ground level, paddles to Romero, snaps over his shoulder and puts it through. So at last North get that goal that eluded them right through the second quarter. And they are a team that you can never deny. And as someone said at half-time, they're just as likely to hit back with everything bar the kitchen sink, and you might even see that in this quarter. They're 5-9-39, trailing the Saints 8-3-51.
Yes, well, you're right. We've seen it so often, and it's not strange territory for North to be in these situations, and they know what is required, and that is you just lift your work rate and you go straight at the ball, as was illustrated perfectly on a couple of occasions just then.
The ball thrown up in the centre, knocked down by Harris, kick off the ground by Crocker. It comes out towards Swass again. He's grabbed by Pekin, gets a slinging hand pass. Good clever knock on by Allison to Larkin. Larkin's hand passing towards Ross Smith from 25-30 metres out, has missed to the left and has put it through. And that certainly was a let-off for St Kilda, because they worked that ball very well indeed. St Kilda 8 goals, 3-51. North Melbourne 5-10-40.
They've got that John Kennedy's North Melbourne look about them at the moment. Hungry, doing everything on the ground. Now from the kick in, they do it on the ground again as it falls to German in front of the pack. He kicks to Longmire and McCarthy. McCarthy off the pack, dispossessed. Longmire goes back to it. He's under pressure. He's brilliantly tackled by Frawley. Can't get boot to ball. It's cleaned up by Winmar. Chips with the left boot around half back. Schwass runs onto it. 45 out. Kicks to full forward. Allison can't mark it. And off his hands, it's over the boundary line for a throw-in. Stanley, a reshaped North Melbourne forward line.
Yes, they've moved Darren Crocker to centre half forward. A very good move by Shumawish, because he's a sort of player who'll run around. He's a tall man, but he's got a lot of speed, and I think that it's a good move by North.
Boundary throw in. Crocker tries to bring the ball down. He goes to it, can't pick it up. Or Craven goes in and competes very well at ball level, ground level. Craven gets a push in the back. He's hovering over the ball. He did get it out behind him, and there'll be a ball up. 25 out from goal with North into attack. Right forward pocket at the highway end. There's the ball up, thrown up in the air. Not by Morris. Who to? Ramiro, and it's taken by a North Melbourne player. I didn't see who kicked that. Ramiro it was. The ball eventually ends up with Ralph Smith of St Kilda out in the back pocket, kicks out towards the half-back line. McAdam and Scholl. McAdam's got the front position, sockers the ball off the ground. Scholl assumes then the front position in the chase for the ball. It's close to the boundary. Steele is there, keeps it in. And actually, players stopped. And there's going to be a free kick for push, I think. It's Hilton's got the free kick. I didn't see what it was for. Hilton kicks it towards the half-forward line. McAdam has taken a good one. He's about 70 metres out from goal. And the forward line is wide open. Just Martin and Lockett down there. So McAdam will need to get that ball down there quickly. Lockett, I thought he might have pushed Martin out. He doubles back Lockett. Behind the pack is Sturitsky. Kick off the ground, Lockett. Goal! Lockett gets his fourth. 4 goals to Lockett. He flew. There was a bit of pushing and shoving. A bit of hipping and swaying, and the ball fell, and Lockett socked through from about 4 metres out. A handy one for St Kilda. The answer in the first 5 minutes of the third quarter, St Kilda 9-3-57, North 5-10-40. David Mackay.
A goal into Geelong. Yes, on the cross, takes their lead to 11 points after 12 minutes of play. Geelong 10-10-70, lead Hawthorn 8-11-59.
Get to Phil in a moment. North Melbourne into attack, but Frawley looks to repel them. He gets a hand pass to Winmar at half-back. He swings the ball back towards the centre line. Open space out there. It bounces over the line for a throw-in. Just forward of the wing for the Saints. Phil.
Sorry, I was watching the little altercation between Rodney Grinter and Justin Pickering. Melbourne lead by 2 points at the 12-minute mark. They're 7-6-48. Richmond is 6-10-46. But that's going to change because Michael Gale has just received a charity free kick in the goal square.
Brendan Gale of Richmond.
You're right. Brendan Gale, and he's kicked it. So it's now Richmond in front by 4 points.
From the throw-in, North gaining a bit of meterage, but Grant there with a fist on the ball thumps it out to the boundary line and over for a throw-in up towards North Melbourne's left half-forward flank.
A very good crowd here at Moorabbin this afternoon. 3 games on in Melbourne today, and the race is off, of course. The boundary throw-in knocked down by Harding, and it's taken by Craven. Craven kicks it towards the centre, where Burke tries to knock it on and does. Then sockers the ball up towards 50. Lowe comes out to meet it. Hand pass intercepted by Swass. It was meant for Burke. But Burke does emerge with it. Handball onto the bootlaces of Coghlan. Can he kick it? 35 metres out from goal. Freaky has put it through. Ball was touched on the line. Now Coghlan has kicked, I've got him down to 3, but I'm pretty sure he's only kicked 2 and almost 3 there. And just being touched on the line by North Melbourne. North 5-10-40, St Kilda 9-4-58.
McDonald looks for Schwass, who can't mark. He climbed high, couldn't come down with the ball. A pack forms and there's a ball up on the Saints' left half-forward flank. St Kilda now laying the gauntlet down to North Melbourne, 9-4-58 to 5-10-40 after North made a spirited start in the opening minutes. From the ball up, Harvey goes straight across ground into centre half forward for the Saints, but Chandler marks it, gives a hand pass to the running Steele. Out of defence go the Kangaroos, but playing in front, Morris takes the mark. Crocker arrived late with the spoil, running onto the ball. It was going to be a free, not a mark. Rice runs onto it, kicks into attack. It bounces in the pocket. Lockett goes after it, traps it brilliantly. Oh, rode a bump but lost the ball in the process. Fight on for the ball now in the pocket, and it rolls over the line and will be thrown in.
Tim.
Martin and Lockett have locked horns. Oh, crackers.
Get out of there, son.
It's really on. The boundary umpire throws it in. Good idea. Lowe gets it to Craven. A hand pass to Kitchke. Looks for Lowe. Lowe's on his knees. He's got it now. He snaps it towards goal. Hilton up, but it's punched away by McDonald. Running towards it is Winmar. He smothers Steele's hand pass. He goes back to it. He snaps, and it's goal. A goal by Kitchke.
Magic.
Winmar's kick was grabbed on the line virtually by Kitchke, who pops it through for the Saints 10. And they lead by 24 points, 10-4-64. North 5-10-40 the margin, 24 points at the 8.5-minute mark.
Well, some players just have that ability to make something out of nothing. Nicky Winmar's effort in coming in there to contest, he smothered the ball, he spun around, picked the ball up, a little check side kick and got the ball to Kitski to turn and kick the goal. Absolutely magnificent play.
From the ball up, Hardy knocks it down, taken by Larkin, kicks into a couple of players. Swash looks for a free kick. Oh, Smith I thought may have been legged. That's Smith of North Melbourne. It's still in the centre. It comes out of the pack. And there's a free kick to David Grant on the defensive side of the centre. St Kilda 10-4-64, lead by 4 goals. North 5-10-40. And we've played just over 9 minutes, third quarter here at Moorabbin. Kick towards centre half forward. Out comes Larkin. Lowe is late on the scene and biffed him unintentionally, I think, behind the back of the head. And a free kick, no, a mark taken by Larkin, who's a bit groggy. Ross Smith, too, just had the doctor out a moment ago. And the emergency umpire out a short time ago to the 2 number 4s. Now, the kick by Larkin a bit short. The Crocker's in front of Morris and Mark's wide of centre. The Saints lead by 4 goals here at Moorabbin. Kick by Morris in towards David Grant. Almost a collision there with 3 St Kilda players. The ball comes out of the pack. Grant emerges. Handball to Harding. He's claimed from behind by Harris. Loses the ball. Picked up by Swass. Ball slides off the side of his boot. And going in there is Grant again. Longmire on top of the pack. And there'll be a ball up 40 out from North Melbourne's goal. In the fading light here at Moorabbin, St Kilda 10-4. North Melbourne 5-10. Get a score from the other venues in just a moment.
Morris up against Crocker, gets it brilliantly down to his ruckman Harding, who this time is his rover. He kicks to the wing to Harvey. Pressured by Staritsky. Hand pass not terribly effective. Helped on though by Burke. Now Stevens versus Harvey. Stevens there first, but can only take it to the boundary line and over. And away from the ball, Staritsky is down on hands and knees and ruefully picking himself up. Must have copped a solid one. At the throw-in, Harris on the ground now. Harding has front position, though. Brings it down to Harvey. Puts the Saints into attack. Out comes Fairley. Under pressure. Doesn't kick well. And Burke marks on the wing for the Saints, who really have their tails up and I think sense that North are breaking. He kicks into half forward, where it's all kangaroo territory, though. And the mark is taken by Fairley with virtually no opposition. On the defensive 50 for North. He goes in towards the centre of the ground. Crocker versus Morris. Crocker tries to help it on. He's got some runners there. In goes Romero. Scholl there as well. Romero's got it. Hand pass on. Knocked on by Crocker. Brilliant hip and shoulder. Winmar puts Smith out of business. And then he soccers the ball on. Might have got a free kick but didn't. But went straight to Larkin. Hand pass to Chandler. Swinging kick up towards half forward. Rice in front of Allison. Neither could mark. Swass at the ball does well. Oh, does well, even better to break a tackle. Centering kick to nobody. Longmire and Fairley now. Bit of holding, pushing and nudging. No free kick. Romero in over the top of it. Ball up. Inside North's 50. Very spirited stuff. We're 11 and a half in. And the Saints 64 lead the Roos 40.
A ball up 40 out from North Melbourne's goal. Up goes Morris, but Crocker knocks it down to German, who's claimed. And the ball held to him. And there'll be a ball up. Quick score from David Mackay only.
Geelong by 16 points after 20 minutes. Geelong 11-11-77. Hawthorn 8-13-61.
North deep into attack. 35 out. Morris wins this time. Knocks it down to Pekin, who is slung as he kicks the ball up towards centre half back and Harding. Grant there in possession. Gives the handball out towards Harvey. Runs away from Crocker. Kicks the ball out wide towards McCannum. McCannum in front of Scholl. Now they're bringing the ball in from the right direction, St Kilda. The kick down towards Lockett. Punched away by Martin, but straight there. Unfortunately to Kitski. And Kitski has blazed for goal and has put it out of bounds on the full. I heard a bit of a racket there, and it's our effects mic's fallen down.
Hope you can still hear the crowd.
Well, that's okay. At least we're still on air. St Kilda 10-4. North Melbourne 5-10. I thought Jack might have collapsed behind me. Hold out the effects mic there, Stanley. Now, from that kick, it's taken by Ross Smith up towards the wing. A chance for Crocker. Good hip and shoulder by Grant, but Crocker plays well. He still has the ball underneath him. The ball comes out to Grant. Attempt to kick off the ground, picked up by Pekin. Gets the ball through. Harding knocks it cleverly across to Morris. He's 70 out. Handball across to Pekin. Pekin on to Harvey. Harvey's hand pass to Coughlin. Coughlin breaks a tackle but forced a hand pass to Lowe. But he's going to be penalised for either throwing or holding the ball.
Tripped.
He's tripped. So he's going to get a free kick.
Yep.
Well, I was wrong with both those options. We'll get to both the venues in just a moment to check up on the scores. Last score we had, Geelong 17 points up on Hawthorn, and the Tigers led by less than a goal over Melbourne. But we'll update those scores for you after this kick from Frankie Coughlin from 50 metres out from goal. He'll have to aim for the right. The breeze brings it back. Will it have legs? The ball punched in front of the pack. A chance there for Kitski. Handball across to Hilton. Hilton from standing start kicks a miraculous goal. Oh, no, it just shaved the post. Sorry, St Kilda supporters, but I had the glasses right on it. Even Tony Lockett started to applaud. And he might have heard a bit of a scrape as it went through. But they open up a good lead of 25 points. David Mackay, that's St Kilda.
Geelong's 4 goals to Hawthorn's 1 in this quarter has extended their lead to 23 points at the 20-minute mark. Geelong 12-12-84, lead Hawthorn 8-13-61. Phil Pennell.
Richmond lead by 4 points at the 20-minute mark, 8-10-58 to Melbourne, 8-6-54.
Saints still in attack. Newport from the half-forward flank to Lockett and Martin. Martin with good position, brings it down to Fairley. Did well then, the fullback. Fairley, a left-footer, is dangerous, and Harvey marks it for the Saints. As Fairley tried to prod a little pass to German. It didn't have the carry. Harvey has stolen it, and he's 40 metres out on a 45-degree angle. And this to really turn the screw for the Saints, who are dominating it and have done since quarter time, leading by 25 points. In comes Harvey. Kicks at goal. He's missed. It's across the face, and it's through for a behind. The Saints are 10-6-66. The Kangaroos 5-10-40. So prior to that kick, the scoring shot's dead level, but in reverse, the Saints leading by 26 points.
A tick over 15 minutes in the third term. Now the kick in by McDonald, or the kick out. Actually out to the attacking side for St Kilda, really. Kick off the ground and nudge by Scholl. And a further kick off the ground there by Steele. And another kick off the ground by Steele. Goes into the body of Ralph Smith. The ball picked up there by Scholl, who kicks it up towards half-forward. And coming out is Delina. Delina 60 out from goal. Sees Allison, and Allison can't quite get there. Running with the flight of the ball. Longmire a tap across to Allison is clever, but Allison doesn't make the best of it. Picked up by Rice. Kicks the ball up towards the point of the square at half-forward. Good harassment by Burke. Ramiro too slow. Tackle from behind by Pekin. The ball comes down towards Newport. Handball onto Coughlin. Coughlin's foot passes sweet and finds Harvey just wide of centre. Harvey's hand pass to Pekin. Pekin's hand pass to Coughlin. They're running everywhere. Frankie from 50 out finds Lockett. Lockett marks 45 metres out from goal, and they really toyed with North Melbourne, and the style of play they played there, and the way they used the ball with crisp handballing was almost like dry weather football. They handled the ball so crisply and sweetly. And Coughlin, who's been dangerous when running into goal all day, he's kicked a couple himself. He went short that time, and he travelled about 15 metres, but leading onto it was Tony Lockett. Now Lockett has kicked 4 goals straight. And this might be the goal to break North Melbourne. Martin's on the mark. Lockett aims right. The breeze drags it back beautifully. Sensational kick by Tony Lockett. 5 goals. Well, if you see it on the replay tonight, you might think, gee, that's easy. Dead in front, 35 metres out. But boy, did the wind apply some bias to that, and he kicked it perfectly for a goal. They lead by 32 points. St Kilda 11-6. North Melbourne 5-10. Stan.
So yes, well, they're great goal, but sensational running play by Frankie Coughlin. And right at this moment, the likes of Coughlin, Harvey and Winmar, they're just cutting North to ribbons.
That's 50 for the season for Tony Lockett in his 6th game. From the ball up North into attack through Stevens. Longmire runs hard at it. 45 from goal. Hand pass for the running Chandler, who's up in the attacking half. But Winmar playing him close and well. And Winmar prevails. Goes backwards to Ralph Smith. Pokes a pass around half-back to Newport. Brilliant kick. Newport chips to Coughlin, and the Saints chopping up the Kangaroos. Coughlin under the scoreboard, touches it down once. At full tilt, kicks long towards Lockett, who's 3rd in line. And first in line, McCarthy back in defence now marks. But the umpire is giving some instructions and he's saying it's Martin's free kick. No, it's not. It's McCarthy's ball. He kicks back towards McDonald, who's just short of the centre. Can't mark. Saints in numbers again. Burke a hand pass to Harvey. Outside 50. Goes to Lowe. He's got it. Left forward pocket. He's about 30 to 35 metres out. Now he comes in and he's going to place his mark on the ground. And we've heard so much about his improved kicking. Apparently kicked a couple of excellent goals against Hawthorn.
Standing all these his marks out here from training.
Yes.
In he comes. Difficult angle this. Awkward wind. He kicks at goal. He has kicked brilliantly. Oh, the Saints can do no wrong. They've doubled the Kangaroo score. 12-8-80 plays 5-10-40. They've kicked 4 goals to 1 in this third quarter, which is 19 minutes old. Around the other grounds, David Mackay at Princes Park.
Geelong have moved away to a commanding lead of 30 points at the 25-minute mark. Geelong 13-13-91. Lead Hawthorn 8-13-61. Phil Pennell.
Richmond by 5 points at the 25-minute mark there. 8-11-59. Melbourne 8-6-54. Gee, it's going to be tough for the Demons now.
The Saints go forward through Rice, but the mark taken at half-back by Stevens of North Melbourne. Around the outer wing, Allison goes high, can't bring the ball down. McAdam this way, that away, and I mean it, he goes this way, that away, turns on a Florin, kicks the ball out towards the half-forward flank, and low in front of Fairley takes the mark. He's still on the wing virtually in front of the scoreboard here at Moorabbin, but they're coming in on the attacking side. Up goes Coughlin, can't mark, got a nudge. Hilton kicks off the ground, goes back. He shovels the ball out. I don't know how he did it. Looked like a throw from there as Harvey's there. Hand pass by Harvey to no one, although McAdam does close. Gets a call behind from Hilton. Hilton nudges the North Melbourne player to gain a passage there for Coughlin, who has missed to the left and has put it through for a behind. So Frankie's having a pretty good day today with 2 goals won. We are 20 minutes into the quarter. North Melbourne 5-10-40 and St Kilda 12-7-79.
Ball back in play. Short pass to Steele from Martin. He takes the mark in the back pocket. But the Kangaroos defending, and the best they can hope for is to hold St Kilda out at the moment. Shocking kick straight to Lowe. He plays on. He goes for goal from 40. He goes too far to the right, and it doesn't curl back to the left. Reminds me of Bob Hope in the Paleface, if you've ever seen that one, Crackers. If it blows from the left, shoot to the right, and so on. 12-9-81 plays 5-10-40.
Now the kick in by Martin, almost straight up the centre. Up goes Rice, hands to it but couldn't mark. Coming out of the pack there is McCarthy. McCarthy clears from half-back towards the half-forward line. Morris has got the front position, paddles towards the boundary. Ralph Smith there doing battle with Delina. Delina goes to ground, kick off by Morris. Coming in using his body beautifully is Burke. Burke across to Pekin. Pekin beautifully across to Morris. The Saints go forward. The ball on the bounce to Larkin. Rush goes in. Larkin battling well. Knocks the hard ball out to Scholl. Scholl loses his footing. Gets the hand pass out to McCarthy. McCarthy's hand pass to Allison. Jack, I hope you can pick up these hand passes. The kick by Allison long in towards centre half forward. Frawley and Longmire. About 50-50. Longmire emerges. Picks the ball up on 50. High kick. I can't even see it. There it comes down. And it's been marked by Crocker. 50 metres out from goal, right in front of our broadcast position to the highway end. A centering kick. It's going to land just on the edge of the goal square. Punch away by Grant. Craven comes through, does well. Or putting his body in Frawley as if life depended on it. And there'll be a ball up just metres out from North Melbourne's goal. 22 minutes in the third term. There's the ball up now. It was a quick ball up. A couple of players had their backs to it. Knocked towards the boundary line. It just grazes the behind post, and there'll be a boundary throw in. Score check at Moorabbin. St Kilda 12-8-80. North Melbourne 5-10-40.
Harding and Gallagher in ruck. They share the honours at the fall. Kangaroos with nowhere to go as they seek this elusive goal. They kicked one early in this quarter. It's the only one they've kicked since quarter time when they were 4-4. Right now they're 5-10. Another ball up, only 15 metres out. Off the pack, Delina. He's immediately besieged and dispossessed. taken by Harvey. Hand pass to Harding. Stolen by Schwass. Swings it back towards goal, but can't get enough hook on the kick, and it's through for a behind and just made that. North 5-11-41. The Saints 12-8-80, and this perhaps the winning quarter for the Saints, as they really have burst away with 4-5 to 1-3.
Kick in by Frawley. It must be close to three-quarter time at the other venues. We'll check the scores in a moment. Schwass up high. Might have infringed his own play on getting up so high. Coughlin's hand pass to Newport. Newport to Craven. Craven dishes the hand pass out to Burke. Burke's about 60 out from goal. Gets a handball to Newport, who rides a Chandler bump beautifully. Newport's left foot kick is precision. It's been marked by Ketschke in front of the adoring fans on the wing. He goes long, down towards Lowe. He's got the front position over Fielding. Dives and takes a beauty. 50 metres out from goal. He'll kick from 55. And Lowe, well, I thought he was going to hand pass to Pekin, and he has rightly so, but invited the play on. That was a good decision. Down towards Lockett. The ball spills towards McAdam. The ball just towed away by Scholl. And there'll be a boundary throw in at the South Road goal, about 35 metres out from goal, left half forward flank. The Saints lead by 39 points here, as they led by 19 at half-time. It's been a good quarter for them. Boundary throw in. The ball knocked down. Craven through the pack. Handball across to Newport. Upended. Good tackle Larkin. Loose ball comes out to Harvey. Harvey's hand pass to Lowe. Cedric kicking towards goal. Lockett punches the ball away the best he could do. Allison is there. Hand passes right across the last line. Stevens can't pick it up, so he soccers well out beyond 50. Good work. Scholl is there. McAdam closing. Scholl goes around. Gives the handball back. And it's taken eventually by Allison. Short pass to Ramiro. Ramiro at centre half, back in the dying moments of the third term. But the mark is taken by David Grant. Grant plays on quickly. 24 and a half minutes played, and the Saints go forward.
Lovely long kick into half forward. McCarthy has it covered on, thumps it back to the centre. Harvey runs onto it. Hand pass to Pekin, another one to Burke. On the left boot and under pressure from Schwass. Good tackle. Kick goes nowhere. McCarthy and Newport run at him. Newport wins with a little nudge on with the boot, but he's tackled and dispossessed. Taken away by Delina. Short pass to Staritsky, just behind the centre line. Plays on and reaches the centre. Kicks into half forward. North not able to mark despite McDonald died. Picked up by Crocker. Hand pass to Gallagher. Lovely long left-handed to Staritsky. Another one out in front of McDonald. At 45. Goes for goal from the angle. But it's off direction and through for another behind. North 5, 12, 42. 1-8 since quarter time. And the Saints are 12-8-80. Let's check the other scores. It might be three-quarter time. David.
Three-quarter time, it's a 6-goal lead to Geelong. They lead 14-14-98 to Hawthorn 8-14-62. Phil Pennell.
Richmond lead by 11 points at three-quarter time. They're 10-11-71. Melbourne 9-6-60.
Kick in by Frawley, marked by Gallagher. 2 kicks out from goal. Frawley says leave it. Winmar was going to go. The ball punched in front of the pack, picked up by Allison. A little chip kicking towards goal is a beauty on the left boot. A goal to North Melbourne. Kicked by Brett Allison. That's his second. We are 1 minute into time on here at Moorabbin, and the scoreboard reads St Kilda 12-8-80, North Melbourne 6-12-48. Crackers.
Well, it's a nice little goal by Brett Allison, but I'm afraid that the coffin could have the nails in it by now, and their forward line's not really existent, because every time he comes up there, Longmire's getting cleaned up by Frawley. He just can't buy a kick at it. But Allison, he's been running, he's been useful, and he got on the end of one and kicked a nice goal.
Gallagher and Harding. Harding gets the knock, but straight to Larkin, who puts it onto the left boot to Crocker, who should have marked but missed. He gets a hand pass off to Staritsky. Here go the Kangaroos. Longmire and Frawley. Longmire! Oh, yes. Held the brutishly strong Frawley at bay with his body and took a very good mark. What a contest that was. And nice to see the full forward prevail. For one of the very few times today, he's taken only 2 marks. He's kicked 2. Kicks from 40, straight in front. And I think he's put it through. Yes, he has. So a couple in time onto the Kangaroos, who just edged close enough to have some hope. They're 7-12-54. The Saints are 12-8-80, and the margin is back to 26 points. Repeating those three-quarter time scores around the grounds. Geelong by 6 goals. 14-14 to 8-14, and the Tigers, coming home with the win, lead the Demons by 11 points, 10-11 to 9-6. Stan.
Yes, and just we've seen again the character of North Melbourne. They have been absolutely annihilated this quarter, but they just keep at it and keep at it, and they've started to win the ball around the centre. It's interesting, I watched about 3 or 4 minutes ago, and I'm sure that St Kilda players are starting to look at the scoreboard. They've sat back and they've just paid the penalty, because 2 terrific goals by North totally against the trend of play. Up in ruck, neither ruckman win it, but emerging Ramiro soccers the ball. It's up inside 50 already. Another soccer by Crocker. It's well up towards goal. Rice comes out, long by there. Rice kicks across the half-back line. It's about 50 metres out from goal, and there'll be a boundary throw in. 28 minutes in the third term at Moorabbin. St Kilda 12-8-80. North Melbourne 7-12-54. And that margin just 26 points now. It was up around 40 a short time ago. Throw in. Harding. Sharked by Ramiro. A centering kick in towards full forward. It's all St Kilda for the moment. Good harassment there by Allison though. Crawley loses it to Longmire. Hand pass to German. Kicks in towards the goal square. Up they go. Won't have travelled very far. It'll be play on. As Longmire grabbed it, but he was grabbed in turn by Crawley. And the umpire will call for a bounce. And I think a nice bit of ruck work here to maybe give away a behind might be the best way the Saints might go. Gallagher knocks it back, and it was clever. Through the pack, it goes to McDonald. But unfortunately, he misses everything from about 12 metres out. And a free kick to Morris. And time ticking by, almost three-quarter time. Free kick to St Kilda, back pocket at the highway end. It won't be Morris. He's picked it up and handballs the ball back to Dean Rice.
Well, this late flurry by North really bringing the game back to life. Rice out to half-back. Crocker flies third in line and almost takes a good mark. Gallagher eventually has the ball but is on the ground. Gives it off to Delina. Bursts into the clear. Goes to Longmire and to Harris. Is it McDonald? McDonald, 35 out. Will kick from about 40, in fact. And this to cut the margin to 20 points as we approach the 30-minute mark. And there's the siren. So a crucial kick for a third goal in time on to the Kangaroos. And the crowd doing everything it can to distract Donald McDonald. In he comes. Kicks at goal. He's missed. Missed badly to the right. And so the Kangaroos kicked 2-2, I think it was, in that late burst. And at three-quarter time trailed by 25 points. But they've done enough perhaps to give themselves heart. And certainly to give the impression that they might have the running in the last quarter to worry the Saints. At three-quarter time, St Kilda 12-8-80. North Melbourne 7-13-55. And in that term, the Saints kicked 4-5. The Kangaroos 3-5. Their best work being done in the last 5 minutes of the term. Lockett has 5, 2 each to McAdam and Coughlin, singles to Kitchke, Lowe and Hilton, and for North 3 to Longmire, 2 to Allison, and singles to German and Ramiro. The Saints will take a 27-point advantage into the final term in front of this big crowd at Moorabbin. We'll have a short news bulletin shortly, but just around the grounds quickly. David, is it still three-quarter time?
No, we've played about 3 minutes into the final term, and Geelong now lead by 42 points. Geelong 15-14, 104. Hawthorn 8-14, 62. And big problems for Geelong. They'll have nowhere that they can slot Gary Ablett in the way they're playing at the moment.
Wow. And Phil Pennell, action in the last quarter at the G?
The ball's just been bounced. Tim and Richmond still there for hold an 11-point advantage, 10-11-71 to Melbourne, 9-6-60. For Melbourne, Beveridge and Bennett have kicked 2 and 1 each to Glenn Lovett, Obst, Howard, Schwartz and Cuthbertson. And for Richmond, 2 to Keys and Lambert as well. It's Brendan Gale and 1 each to Justin Pickering, Knights, Underwood, Naish.
Do you give the Demons any hope?
Oh, yes, they've got plenty of character, but Richmond again have to fall in a big hole, I think.
So early in the last quarter, the Cats are 7 goals in front of the Hawks. They've just started at the MCG with the Tigers with the wind and leading by 11 points. And here at Moorabbin, the Saints lead the Kangaroos by 25 points at the last change. I think I said 27 a moment ago. Back with our three-quarter time summary shortly. Good, but Stan, we might yet have a last quarter contest.
Yes, I think it's a very, very interesting quarter, Tim, because for a side to dominate the quarter as much as St Kilda did, and they really did for virtually 95% of that quarter, they just had the ball all the time, and it'd be interesting to see the stats, because I think you'd find that St Kilda players far better number of kicks and marks and handballs and all those things, and when they did, they looked better and everything like that. But the end result, all they did was increase their lead on the scoreboard by only 6 points. Now, and North, to have so few players going well, and yet to be able to do that is a real plus for them. St Kilda in that quarter, their running players early were magnificent. Frankie Coughlin, Robbie Harvey, Nicky Winmar and all those players, and Stewie Lowe was firing up. Harding was doing well on the ruck. They still had good players across the back line. But at about 3 or 4 minutes before that end of the quarter, they fell for the old 3-card trick. They looked at the scoreboard and said, oh, here we are, we're 6 odd goals up. This is easy. Well, let's just sit back and have a little breather and wait. We'll go in at 3/4 time and get the pats on the back. But North have been in these positions before, and they didn't. It was heads down, and in they went. Romero, Allison, and those players started to get the ball down, and down they went. And they kicked a couple of goals, and really, if Donald McDonald had have kicked how he should have, they'd be a lot closer. I think there's still a lot of game to be played yet.
Well, I agree with you. I still reckon that North are there for a bit of a chance in St Kilda. If they lose this game, they lost it because of compassion. They had a chance to really put North into the mud in that quarter, and they didn't. They eased off the brakes, and they really just decided the scoreboard and won the game for them. And you can't do that, especially with St Kilda have been down for that long. And they just sort of eased up. But North, you just can't let them. They just keep on running at you. You've just got to crush them when you get a chance. And if you let them run, they'll run on you, and they will create opportunities. And all they do is need a stiff now and win a bit of strike.
Free kicks, 14 St Kilda, 14 North Melbourne. Not many free kicks in the game today. Winmar's had 22 possessions. Grant's had 22. Harvey 22. Coughlin 17. Rice 15. Pekin 15. Swass 18. Larkin 17. Steele 16. David Mackay before they start here.
48-point lead to Geelong at the 5-minute mark. Geelong 17-14, 116 to Hawthorn 9-14, 68. Phil Pennell.
Yes, we've played 4 minutes and we've kicked a goal each. Richmond 11-11, 77, and Melbourne at 10-6, 66. But Melbourne have listed their intensity.
Final term is still seconds away. We have that situation where we got the 1 minute siren 60 seconds ago. Everyone was ready to go, and the umpire had to wait. Now it's underway. Vernon throws it into the air. Gallagher beats Harding well. Romero kicks off the ground to half forward. Pekin stems the flow. Hand pass to Morris. Kicks back to the wing. 2 North men closing now, and Scholl takes the mark. Just forward of the wing for the Kangaroos. An early goal, and they just might have their tails up. Into half forward. No one can mark it. At the fall, no one in particular. Harvey does well. He's been good. Hand pass to Newport, who's dumped. Stolen by Larkin, who threads his way into the clear. Brilliantly done. Long kick to full forward. Longmire and Frawley. Frawley, too good. Too strong, too robust. What did you make of it, Crackers?
He's a little bit disappointing today, John Longmire.
Kick by Frawley after that mark. Up towards the halfback. Punched away by Gallagher inside 50. Picked up by Steele. Long kick in towards goal. It bounces just to the left. And it's through for a behind. A kick by Darren Steele. But with an ounce of luck, it might have gone the other way. It didn't. A minute in. Final term. St Kilda 12-8-80. And North Melbourne now 7-14-56.
Frawley goes to the members' side. Harding and Gallagher. And Morris in from the side. Spills the mark, though. Steele takes it off the pack and hits McDonald with a precise pass. And McDonald can shoot from 50 metres out directly in front. Now, an important kick this. The Kangaroos need one. They can't afford to work and not get a result, as has happened in the last couple of quarters. McDonald has to go out to the right. He doesn't. He goes straight at it, and he almost misses the whole target. He just scores a behind. The Kangaroos 7-15-57. The Saints 12-8-80. Phil, any change at the MCG?
Well, Melbourne are doing it the hard way. They've kicked two behinds and now trail by 9 points. 11-11, 77 to 10-8, 68.
Kick in by Frawley from the South Road goal. Out towards the member side. Up goes Morris again, can't mark. Steele jugs it, but can't come through the pack with it. Knocked out by Romero. Crocker across to Steele, across to Larkin. Larkin's kicked the half forward. North Melbourne 3-on-1. Picked up by German. This will be, no, I was going to say a goal off the boot. But the breeze certainly got it and swung it away. And a behind to North Melbourne, who are assaulting, are peppering away They're 7-15 to St Kilda 12-8. David Mackay at Princess Park.
It's a 42-point lead to Geelong at the 10-minute mark. Geelong 17-14, 116. Hawthorn 10-14, 74. Difficult to see out here because it's getting dark.
Kangaroos 3 shots in the first 2.5 minutes, all for behinds. Now Gallagher marks the kick in very talented fashion. He's not without skill, the big fellow. He's 60 metres out too far. He goes towards Longmire. It doesn't carry. It wasn't a good pass. Don't know whether it was a very good lead either. He was coming right out into the pocket. Grant short circuits and takes the mark, and he's been a fine player. Wobbly old punt's not very good, but it lands on the chest of Coghlan, and that makes it excellent. He's on the half-back flank for the Saints. He kicks towards the middle of the ground. From behind Scholl, has the sit and takes the mark. Over McAdam. He really had the run at that. He gives a hand pass off to Delina. Just behind the centre. He goes in towards McDonald at half forward. Morris the spoiler. At the fall is Pekin. He's pushed, goes off the ball. Picked up by Morris. Kicks back to the centre of the ground, and Harvey reads it beautifully and takes the mark. And he's been outstanding for the Saints again today, the youngster.
Lead out wide. In fact, they've got 2-on-1 North Melbourne. McCarthy knocks the ball away from Kitschke. Close to the ground, Scholl. Handball to McCarthy. Not good. Burke comes in. He's on 50. Hand pass McAdam. He can have a shot. Kicks in towards goal and has put it through. Terrific goal, McAdam. It's a goal. Gilbert McAdam has kicked 3 goals, and that's the steadier as the Saints now lead by 28 points. 13-8-86. North Melbourne 7-16-58. Stan.
Yes, well, you just often wonder, where's the justice, don't you? I mean, the North have absolutely dominated this quarter. They've had all the easy shots, and there, Gil McAdam from the pocket just plays away and it goes to. It was really made that goal there, though. The courage of Nathan Burke, who come on, took the man, kept his eyes on the ball, and with a magnificent handball to the side to McAdam, gave him all the space he needed. But the Saints are now back in ascendancy again.
Lead by 28 points. Harding gets the knock, and then from his knees knocks it forward, and Lowe knocks it further forward, and running onto the ball is Harvey. Runs into a wall, but he gets a hand pass off. However, it's straight to Scholl. Well tackled by McAdam. He plays for a free, which he doesn't get. Cleaned up by Storitsky. On to Delina, and then to McCarthy, who pumps it long into attack. Front position McDonald. Can't quite hang on to the mark, and Morris beats him when it hits the ground. Very well done by the former Hawk. Hand pass off to Rice. Out to the wing to Newport, who marks on his chest. Between half-back and the wing, he kicks towards Lowe, who has the sit, fairly makes the spoil. At the fall, Harvey again, rising to the occasion splendidly. On his left, kicks with his right eventually after thinking of the hand pass. A little tunnel ball into Coghlan. He can't do anything with it. It's buried now. Harvey goes back, helps it on to Winmar. 70 metres from goal. Long to Lockett, and from the back, no, North Melbourne. McCarthy almost a mark. At the fall, McCarthy over the top. Lockett goes in like a bull. Gets a hand pass to Coghlan. Kick smothered by Stevens. And then socket out to half-back to Fairley. Fairley kicks long towards the wing. Front position Crocker. Can't hold the mark on his chest. Fights on the ground. Can't get his handball clear. That man, or that boy, Harvey, is in there again. He's superb at the moment. He paddles it out to Winmar. Stolen, though, by Romero. Hooks a kick to half forward. One for North Melbourne, and kick further on for them by McDonald. But a mark or a free kick to Grant is on the half-back flank.
6 minutes of play in the final term. After Grant's mark, he kicks up around the St Kilda members area. Low out of position, but knocks it backwards. Picked up by Storitsky. The left foot kick is short, been marked by Harding. Score check. St Kilda 13-8-86. North Melbourne 7-16-58. The kick by Harding from the wing. Up towards the half-forward line. Just near our broadcast position. Lowe sticks his big number 15s out. Not his feet, but his fingers, and takes a beauty on the wing. 8th mark to Stewie Lowe. Drop punted towards centre half forward. Hilton is there. Might have been grabbed on the jumper, but Delina is there. Sees Lockett bearing down and backtracks. Handball across to Chandler. Good harassment by Winmar. Good work by Martin, though, to give the handball to Stevens, who kicks the ball up towards the wing. It's a North Melbourne mark, and it's Darren Crocker, who has played fairly well. St Kilda 13-8, North Melbourne 7-16. Kick by Crocker towards centre half forward. I heard a whistle. Player being held. North Melbourne free kick, and it's McDonald. He's 65 out. The lead, no, it wasn't a lead by Longmire. The ball spills behind, and it's been fisted through for a rush behind by Danny Brawley. So he gave away a behind there. St Kilda 13-9. In fact, 13-8. And it's North Melbourne to score, about to be updated 7-17, I think it must be. David Mackay at Princes Park.
60-point lead, a 10-goal lead to Geelong at the 15-minute mark. Geelong 20-14, 134. Lead Hawthorn 10-14, 74. Phil Pennell.
Brisbane by 1 point at the 12.5-minute mark. 11-11, 77. Melbourne 11-10, 76.
Ball on the half-forward flank for North, and the Saints, with hard bullocking work, have forced a throw-in. 31,242 patrons at Moorabbin, a terrific crowd here, and most of them are delighting in another fine performance by the Saints. At the throw-in, Harding gets it down, but straight to Ross Smith, who's just come back for Staritsky. He can't do anything constructive. It comes to Larkin. He gets a hand pass to Steele. Big possession winner, a left footer into Longmire and Frawley. Frawley just too strong, puts the full forward out of business again. Picked up by Morris. A hand pass off to Newport. Swings it along the half-back flank, but Crocker marks just before Coughlin arrives and puts him out of business. And now umpire Vernon comes in. The umpires always seem to be impressed when a player goes down as though he is hurt. And Crocker is. He gives a hand pass off to Chandler, who kicks in towards McDonald. A very high ball, hard to mark. Good spoil Morris. Down to Nathan Burke. Clearing kick over half-back. Low there. No one can mark it. Knocked on by Coughlin towards McAdam. First there, though, is Scholl of North Melbourne. Swings with the right boot towards Romero. Quiet player. Awkward half volley. Taken away from him by Craven. Romero goes back and has another bite, but picked up by Burke. A hand pass to Harvey. Yet another possession. Goes to Lockett. No, couldn't quite hang on at the second bite. Cleaned up by McCarthy and floats a clearing hand pass over to Scholl.
Scholl out wide. Lockett's kick 5. Can't mark the ball. In fact, he'll get a free kick. Looks like German out there, who's got a free kick for being dragged down by Burke. He's on the wing, kicks in towards McDonald. McDonald about 70 out. On the boundary line, Morris slips over. He sidesteps in, runs in towards an open goal. 40 metres out, McDonald. Oh, he's missed everything. He has missed absolutely everything. He was about 10 or 12 metres in from the boundary and went right across goal. Free kick goes to Rice.
Melbourne in front.
Short passes to David Grant at centre half-back. Score check here. St Kilda 13-8, North Melbourne 7-17. Let's get a score from Phil.
Yeah, Stretch has just goaled at the 14-minute mark, and Melbourne now lead by 5 points. 12-10, 82. Richmond 11-11, 77.
Larkin's hand pass to Chandler, who kicks into centre half forward, and Grant has played fantastically from the very first second of this match. 10th mark to David Grant. Has played a terrific game and probably would have been a chance for the Brownlow too, and he still might be, except for missing 6 weeks of the season so far. Was it 6 weeks, Dan? About
No. He only missed a couple.
Did he only miss a couple? Okay, Coughlin's marked in front of the Huggins stand. Just had the feeling he was out for a good stretch anyway, but a couple of weeks. Now Coughlin on the half-back flank, up towards the half-forward line where Lowe is there, and Fairley looks a bit tired too as he punched the ball away from behind. He can hardly pick his feet up. We've played 11 minutes in the final term. St Kilda 86, North Melbourne 59.
Fairley and Lowe in ruck. Craven goes in very hard at the fall of the ball to be under the pack. No one can emerge with it, and umpire Vernon comes in and will ball it up. The Saints 13-8, 86. The Kangaroos 7-17, 59.
And Donald McDonald's paid the penalty for missing that shot. It's been dragged.
At the bounce, Fairley gets a knock onto Chandler, who knocks it further on, but straight to Winmar, who bursts onto the left. Kicks towards Lockett, who has 2 against him. Can't get near the ball. Martin has it. He's pushed off. He's kicked by McAdam. The kick goes backwards out to the forward pocket for St Kilda. Burke goes sliding after it like a baseball at a third base and takes it over the line for a throw-in between the flank and the pocket with the Saints deep in attack.
That ball was out on the full too, off the boots of Burke. They didn't pick it up. Boundary throw-in, swashed through the pack, can't get a kick in. Oh, he puts his knee in the back of a St Kilda player. Picked up by Harvey. Harvey's hand pass to McAdam. It's a bit too long for him. Scholl comes over the back, comes out to Stevens. Stevens paddles the ball out to Steele. Steele, one of those over his left shoulder hand passes. They're going in hard, St Kilda. It's still on 50. It's on the half-forward line. In goes Kitski, and it's still in play. There's a... Oh, hello, Martin and Lockett. I can just see out of view here, they're having a wrestle in the goal square by themselves. And they're locked in a wrestle. Lockett's kicked 5 goals straight. You watch that, Tim. Play goes on. Boundary throw in. McCarthy knocks it down to Swass. Swass is 50 metres out from the goal. He's defending. Kicks the ball out towards the scoreboard. Picked up there by Ralph Smith of St Kilda. The fight's still going on, Tim.
Yes, it is.
Kicking towards the centre of the ground. The ball comes down towards Chandler. Chandler knocks the ball out the back gate towards, let me see, who is it? It is Delina. Delina, 70 out from goal. Kicks it towards half forward. Up goes Harris and takes the mark. But he's still a long way out from goal. Darren Harris goes long. It's going to land just inside 50. And it's a St Kilda mark to be taken by Stephen Newport. Update on the fight, Tim?
It's all over.
That's all. Who won?
The emergency umpire stopped it in the third.
In the third. Kick by Newport from centre half-back. Burt takes a beautiful mark. The second grab, he got it. Gets the handball across towards Ralph Smith. The Saints go forward again. Lockett and Martin. Lockett goes to ground. The ball spills behind. And it was Stevens who gets away behind. He socked that ball from 20 metres out. Would you have done that, Stan?
Oh, I think that's a very dangerous... No, I wouldn't have. I mean, there's just too much margin for error from that distance out. On a day like this, the ball could have just sat up.
The Saints by 28 points. Third to the scoreboards here, 28. 13-9 to 7-17.
Phil, a quick one from the MCG. You've got the close one.
I hesitate as Richmond kick a goal to go in front. At the 18.5-minute mark, Richmond are 12-12, 84, a point in advance of Melbourne, 12-11, 83.
Thriller there. Now, the ball on the half-forward flank for the Kangaroos where it's out of bounds and will be thrown in. Harding and Gallagher jostle. Harding has front position. Gallagher tries to put him under the ball, does by pushing him in the back, and it's a free kick to Harding on the half-back flank for the Saints, who look to have all the answers. 14.5 minutes in, they're comfortably in front as Harding short passes to Grant. 87 plays 59. Grant goes towards a lead from low. Fairley playing him shoulder to shoulder prevents his marking attempt. In goes Chandler for North and Stevens. Can't get a kick either of them. Picked up by Fairley. His kick smothered. Ricochets to Chandler, who puts it out on the full. No, touched off his boot, says umpire Vernon. So it's going to be a throw in. Now, a St Kilda player had the ball and was about to kick it forward. The boundary umpire, I think, was going to let him. He was indicating where the mark was, but umpire Vernon arrived and says, no, throw it in.
Final turn, 15 minutes in from the boundary throw in. Who's going to emerge through the pack? The ball comes out, and it is Harding. Handball across to Winmar. Winmar kicks the ball to half forward, and Fairley in front of Lowe has marked. Score checks in Kilda, 13-9-87. North Melbourne, 7-17-59 by 28 points. Kick up towards the crest on the member side. Punched away by Harris. There is Smith of St Kilda, just on. He was on early, started the game and was dragged. Smith kicks up towards Hilton, but a late spoil from Stevens, and the ball inside 50 for the Saints, about 40 metres out from goal. Their right forward pocket at the highway end. St Kilda, 87. North Melbourne, 59. 16 minutes in the quarter almost. Getting very, very dark. The boundary throw in, and it'll be, well, no one gets the knockdown. Ross Smith is there, but paddles to Craven through the pack, in towards Lockett and Martin. Martin does well with his body. Lockett, in fact, yes, free kick to Martin. Good umpiring. Tony Lockett just having a word to the field umpire, but he certainly grabbed onto Martin.
Melbourne back in front
in that exchange. And Michael Martin's got the free kick at fullback.
Yes, Phil.
Melbourne back in front by 5 points after a goal to Jackson. 13-11-89, 12-12-84 as Richmond 20 in.
20 in. Clearing kick by Martin out towards the centre line. Grant up with a good spoil, but it falls to Romero, who gets a nice hand pass onto Steele, who's in the clear now, just forward of the wing. Puts the Kangaroos into attack to Longmire on the bounce. Frawley there with him again, though, wins the exchange. Helps it on to Pekin. He's dispossessed. In goes Allison. His jumper was tugged. Umpire saw it, and Allison takes a free kick just inside 50. But I'm afraid it's too late for the Kangaroos, barring something quite remarkable. Allison kicks a mighty spiral torp, landing on the edge of the square. Longmire up, didn't look like marking. A pack at the ball, and there will be a ball up just on the edge of the rectangle, 10 metres out from goal. St Kilda 13-9-87, North 7-17-59, 17 minutes in.
There's the ball up, and it's been kicked out of the pack by Ralph Smith, I think it was, out towards 50. And it's been cleared by Grant, and I just see him throw his head back. He wasn't happy with that kick, and it's gone out on the full. A free kick to Chandler on the wing for North Melbourne. The Saints by 28 points. Kick by Chandler. They're centering one towards centre half forward. Players up. No one can come down with it. North Melbourne player got a hand pass out of the pack. It was Chandler, but it went to Harding. Good knock on there by Morris. And Newport kicks the ball towards the wing position, pushing it back to St Kilda, not paid. Loose ball comes to Hilton. He's claimed and slung. Kick off the ground by Stevens. Back towards Harvey. Elusively gets out of a Larkin tackle, player down. There's Larkin there now, getting a handball in towards the centre to Ramiro. Ramiro's hand pass over the top to Swass, who lost his footing, but certainly didn't lose his hand pass ability. Gives it to Harris. Harris kicks it towards Longmire at full forward. It's 5 metres out from goal, but it's Rice emerging. And St Kilda so far answering every forward thrust by the North Melbourne team. It's close to the boundary line. In fact, it's over now. Now St Kilda score a try. Score check. It's St Kilda 13-9-87. North Melbourne 7-17-59. David Mackay.
52-point lead to Geelong at the 25-minute mark. Geelong 20-16-136. Lead Hawthorn 11-18-84. Phil Cannell.
Still Melbourne by 5 points, 23 minutes in, 13-11-89 to 12-12-84.
North deep in attack, but Grant repels them running off half-back again, but doesn't kick well for the second time in a row and puts it right onto the chest of Ross Smith on the wing for North Melbourne. He goes in towards centre-half forward. Nothing there for them, though, and there hasn't been all day. Off the pack, it falls out towards the boundary line. Larkin onto it. He's buried and will be penalised for holding the ball. Must have dived on the ball, in the opinion of umpire Saws, and it's a free kick to Newport. As we've played 19 minutes. Newport kicks to the wing where Smith arrives late. Harvey dropped the chest mark. Has barely made a mistake. He gets the ball back. He's tackled and dispossessed, though. Picked up by Winmar, who is brilliant as he threads his way into the clear. Couldn't do any business with the ball, though. It's back in dispute. On the ground, a St Kilda player low tries to knock it on. Can't get it through legs. And eventually off a couple of legs. It's over the line and out of bounds for a throw-in. Up towards North's left half forward flank.
Richmond in front by a point at the 24-minute mark.
Boundary throw in on the wing here for St Kilda. Craven goes to ground. The ball picked up by Harding. Knocked out of the pack. He scooped it. It was a throw, a scoop, and Coughlin was on the end of it and tearing up towards the centre of the ground, but it's got to come back. A free kick to North Melbourne. The Saints lead by 28 points. It's Ramiro. Kicks towards centre half forward. Morris has taken a good mark at centre half back. Russell Morris, score checks, and Kilda 13-9, North Melbourne 7-17. That's 87 playing 59. The kick by Morris around the defensive wing. Chandler up, can't mark. The ball spills in front to Harvey. Harvey picks up, sidesteps, runs into a bit of trouble. Handballs backwards to Winmar. Winmar's kick up to the half-forward line. Rowan Smith is there. It falls behind to Smith. Desperation for McCarthy. Smith's hand pass further up the ground. It's cut off by Stevens. Stevens ducks his head. Knocks the ball outside 50. A chance here for McCarthy. He's still a long way out from St Kilda's goal. Handballs it to no one, although Scholl does go through the pack and picks it up. Kicks the ball up towards half-forward. Morris again. Oh, he must get a free kick. It was the ham in the sandwich. In fact, the advantage is paid. It was Ralph Smith who kicks the ball in towards centre half forward. Picked up by Pekin. Pekin to Lockett. Lockett takes the mark and misses from 12 metres out. And I wouldn't like to explain what Michael Martin did. Lockett got the ride up on his back. It was a spectacular mark. As he hit the ground, he turned around from 15 metres out, had a shot and missed. And Martin was very happy to see that happen. Martin's played very well, but Lockett's kicked 5. The Saints lead by 29, so it mightn't be all that crucial in the context of the result. St Kilda 13-10, North Melbourne 7-17.
McCarthy, a short grubbing kick out to Chandler, who takes it on the bounce, swings it back towards the wing. German front position against Pekin. Pekin wins the contest, knocking the ball on, but a North player dives on it and desperately tries to get it out, otherwise he'll incur the wrath of the umpire. Craven kicks in towards the centre to Newport. Hand pass to Coughlin, hand pass to Harding. Forced him to stop in his tracks and he fumbled. He gets it back, gives it to Craven. Craven a short pass to Hilton, who marks 55 metres out. Well, let's watch Lockett and Martin this time. Martin now 10 metres in front of him. Lockett might have the run at it. He sets himself now at the front of the pack and can't quite hang on. At the fall of the ball, McCarthy swings with the left boot back to half-back. Coghlan traps it well on the half-volley. He's besieged and dispossessed. There's a free kick North Melbourne's way. Phil, any change at the G?
Another goal to Richmond. They lead by 7, 27 minutes in. I think the D's are gone.
And David, the margin at Princes Park?
The margin at the moment is 46 points.
Ramiro's got the free kick from centre half-back. Around the St Kilda members area he goes. No one can mark. Swats the hand pass to Harris. Dragged down by Burke. Forced a hand pass backwards to Swats, still running down the ground. Swats' hand pass to Ross Smith. Out comes Longmire and takes the mark. At centre half forward, about 50 metres out from goal, as the SWAT team, 30 strong, start to circle the ground. So don't go onto the ground, for heaven's sake, till that second siren if you're listening on your trannies. The kick by Longmire is a beauty. It's right through the middle. It's a North Melbourne goal. And Johnny Longmire has kicked 4 goals, 1. Tony Lockett has kicked 5 goals. Score check here. St Kilda 13-10-88 to North Melbourne 8-17-65. The Saints by 23 points. Crackers.
Well, I look at the SWAT team moving round. They're sitting down now. They're like black rabbits out there. But John Longmire's kicked 4 goals, but he hasn't done it in the commanding the way that Tony Lockett's kicked his 5. It's all over here, but not a bad goal.
Throw up in the centre of the ground. Harding gets the knock, but Larkin sharks it, puts the Kangaroos back into attack. No one there for them, though. Grant runs onto the ball. He's under pressure. He gives a hand pass to Rice, who gets his own off, but Crocker overruns it. He's out near the boundary line in the pocket. He's taken over the line by Grant, and there will be a throw in about 30 metres around from the left behind post. Almost 24 minutes gone. The Saints 88 lead the Kangaroos 65. Phil, any change at the MCG?
No, barring miracles or a couple of those umpires we had last night, Melbourne are gone.
40 out from goal, and there's a boundary throw in which will eventually take place. There was a delay. I'm not sure for what reason. The ball knocked down by Harding. Kick off the ground by Crocker in towards the goal square. Overrunning the ball, St Kilda player Pekin. It's 20 out from goal. Out the back it goes to German, and he misses from about 15 metres out and misses badly. Peter German, 1 goal 2. Score check at Moorabbin. St Kilda 13-10-88, and it's North Melbourne. Their total is 66, and it is 8-18-66. 22 points to the Saints.
Frawley puts it back into play. There's an infringement, and a free kick is no, the ball has gone out of bounds. Has it?
Geelong by 40 points at Princes Park.
It's all over, Swan.
Yes, all over. The final score, Geelong 20-16-136, Hawthorn 13-18-96.
Phil, any news there?
Well, I thought there was a Melbourne goal, but this umpire fella has other opinions, and he's paid a Richmond free kick.
Saints into attack, and Hilton takes a spectacular mark on the half-forward line. Now Lockett and Martin again, but Hilton kicks into the man on the mark. Anti-climax, goes back to it a second time, and a third perhaps, but fairly kicks it away from him off the ground. Craven in there for the Saints. Ramiro for North goes down holding his head. No sympathy from the umpire. Picked up by Craven. Short pass inside to Newport. Just forward of the centre line as Lockett and Martin continue their 2-man war, and they might fight for this. Lockett runs at the ball a bit hard. At the back, Burke can go for goal and puts it through. Well, if it wasn't over, it is now. The Saints 14-10-94 lead the Kangaroos 8-18-66 by 28 points. We're
all over here.
Phil, final score.
Richmond 14-12-96, Melbourne 13-12-90.
David, your final score?
Final score here, Tim, 40-point win to Geelong. Geelong 20-16-136, defeated Hawthorn 13-18-96.
Into time on by a minute here at Moorabbin. From the centre bounce, who's going to emerge with that first position? No one yet. Still nobody. And kick by Larkin up towards centre half forward. The ball bounces on the 50-metre line, and it's been run across there by Rice, who picks it up on 50, kicks out towards the wing. Where St Kilda have 2-on-1. The boundary will win, though. Beats Harvey, and there'll be a boundary throw in.
And the boundary umpire almost tripped over one of the SWAT men.
St Kilda 14-10-94, North Melbourne 8-18-66. A margin of 28 points from the throw-in. Fairley takes it out of the air, kicks it up towards the wing. Craven had a chance but lost it to Ramiro, although it was picked up eventually by a North Melbourne player. And Ramiro does pick it up on the boundary and kicks it only about 10 metres, where it's marked by Newport, almost run down, but he plays on, kicks it towards Hilton, but he's behind the pack. Soccer off the ground by Coughlin. A chance for Loken. A big fellow pick it up. He does beautifully. Centering kick towards Lockett at centre half forward, but it's been chopped off there by Scholl on the half volley, and Scholl clears the ball up towards the half back line. Swash knocks the ball away from Burke and gives him one right across the left ear. Burke's got the free kick, Nathan Burke. He's gone back to argue with Swash about what the heck did you do that for?
Now the umpire taking the book
is going to be reported. Wayne Swash, well, I did see the infringement as I called it. He almost reported the wrong player. He almost reported Peter German and realised it was Wayne Swash was the man involved. So he's made that correction. But Swash did, I just think in frustration, just clip him across the left ear. It hurt.
Little Bergie did come back very quickly.
He did come back, so it must have hurt. Score check. St Kilda 14-10-94. North Melbourne 8-18-66. And Burke is about 2.5 kicks out from goal. And it is very dark here. 3 minutes into added time. The Saints home, the Cats home, and the Tigers home. Kick by Nathan Burke. Towards Lowe on the half-forward line, in front of Fairley. And Stewie Lowe takes yet another mark. How many today, Jack? 9 marks. Grant's taken about 10. Kicks it towards Lockett. If Lockett might shepherd it through, well, the idea was okay, but Martin did knock it through, and he and Lockett are having a bit of a toe-to-toe, a bit of a test of strength between the goalposts and the fence, giving the fans there at the Nepean Highway goal a bird's eye view of wrestling at its very, very best. I wonder whether they'll shake hands at the end. They should. It's been a terrific battle between those two. Lockett's kicked 5. St Kilda 14-12, North Melbourne 8-18.
Hasn't it been on? And they exchange glares and perhaps a couple of words, although I think they're both the strong and silent type. As Smith puts it back into play for North Melbourne, they all stand there and watch it bounce. McAdam gets a hand pass off to Burke, who delivers into half forward. No one can mark. Harvey at the base of the pack pokes a little pass to Harding, who is 45 metres out directly in front. Maybe he should just poke it up in the air and let Lockett and Martin contest one out.
That emergency umpire should be off the field, Tim. It's all over, and he's hovering in the forward pocket. He's lurking. He should be off the ground. He shouldn't be down there at all. It's all over. It's finished. He should be back on the wing on his bench.
Harding lines them up. He's having a shot. In he comes. There's the siren. It's all over, and Harding has put it through. Yes, he has. The grand finale.
And they're embracing the full-back and the full-forward. They really are embracing. I've got the... oh, no, Martin doesn't want to accept Lockett's hand.
They're not embracing.
Stuart Lowe's given Michael Martin one in the face with an open hand. Martin's verbalising with Lockett. Lowe says, come on, Tony. Just let him have a look at the scoreboard. So they didn't shake hands. I thought they might have. I think Tony wanted to.
Nicky Winmar came in and shook hands.
I don't think so.
You don't?
No.
Well...
A
hostile farewell to the Kangaroos and their full-back. And now jubilation as the Saints near their race. And the 31,242 who came here today, the majority of whom are barracking for the Saints, are delighted. And Lockett leads them in. The Saints 15-12-102. Have beaten the Kangaroos 8-18-66 by 36 points. And the Saints, who won 4 consecutive wooden spoons in the middle of the 1980s, are third on the table, approaching the halfway mark of season 1991, and they look as though they've arrived. Today they've broken the Kangaroos' 6-game winning streak. St Kilda by 36 points. Lockett kicked 5. In that blood and thunder contest with Martin. McAdam 3, Coughlin 2. Singles to Kitchke, Lowe, Burke and Hilton. And for North, Longmire kicked 4, Allison 2, 1 each to German and Romero. But it was a resounding win to the Saints. 15-12, 102 to 8-18-66. Around the grounds for final scores and goal kick. Hafey, if you're to tell us their version of events here at Moorabbin, we're in front of more than 31,000 people. The Saints comprehensively beat the Kangaroos by 36 points, 15-12, 102 to 8-18-66. 5 goals to Lockett, 3 to McAdam, and for North, 4 to Longmire and 2 to Allison. Stan.
Yes, it was really a game that St Kilda totally dominated, and really, first of all, I might pay a bit of a compliment to North Melbourne, because when you think about it, they had very few patches of play where they looked good. They had very few players who played well at all on the day, and the fact that, I looked through and I couldn't even find one player who I got in the good players for them for 4 quarters, so they didn't have a 4-quarter player. That might be doing a bit of an injustice to Michael Martin, because he certainly worked his heart out. But when you put all in the context of that and the way this game was absolutely dominated, which we'll talk about shortly by St Kilda, it is really quite amazing that North came into this last quarter with a chance. They gave themselves a chance because they had a little hurry on in the last few minutes of the third quarter, and they came out in the last quarter and they had a couple of chances again, but unfortunately at any time when they were looking for a lift, and perhaps they were looking for some sort of spark, they just couldn't find the opening between the big posts, and they kicked to points. Remember at one stage there were a couple of posters, but they seemed to kick points at vital stages, just when the sort of thing that they needed. They'd done all the hard work, they weren't playing well, but they'd get it down there and they'd kick a couple of points, and wouldn't you know it, all of a sudden the ball would come up the other end of the ground, St Kilda would steady and kick a goal. But let's not take anything away from St Kilda, because they really did totally dominate this game after what I thought was a very even first quarter, and they certainly didn't lower their colours there. They just took over and they won in every area. Their defence was just too strong for the Kangaroos today. Longmire's kicked his 4 goals, but I thought Frawley just had the better of him, and the number of times the ball came down, it's a bit of a shame. Johnny Longmire, I think he's just got to show a little bit more oomph at times, because Frawley and the other blokes were allowed to just outbustle him a little bit too easily at times. And I know he's only a young boy and he'll be a great player, but he wasn't at all any good. But I guess on the other hand, there was no help for him today, and certainly they missed the likes of young Carey, because Russell Morris, who played at centre half back, he just had a procession of opponents and just did it at ease. One of the things, of course, was that after the first quarter, I thought the pressure by the on-ballers for St Kilda was good, and this meant that there weren't too many easy passes coming to the North players. Craven did a very good job on Romero today, and he just tagged him wherever he went. Newport followed Larkin and did quite a good job on him, and I think that was one of the things when they chopped out these smaller running players and they weren't able to get their free-flowing game going. It made it very, very difficult for them. St Kilda on the back line, they had a lot of good players, none better than David Grant. His game was just absolutely outstanding. Across the centre line was terrific for them again. Winmar was another magnificent player for them. One of the features of Winmar's game is that playing up on that wing, when he gets the ball, he's such a lovely kick, and kicks the ball 60 or so metres any time, and he's the sort of player where they can kick the ball out to him and he can beat his man one out, and he was good. Harvey was a tremendous player for them today. The longer the game went, he's an exciting player, this young man. His ability to, when everybody else is fumbling, to just one grab, pick the ball up and feed it off. He seems to make space. He goes to handball and they all think they're going to run to the target. He just stands still, weaves his body and then squirts it out, and he was an excellent player. I thought there was a terrific battle also. Nathan Burke picked up Wayne Swass, and that was a terrific battle, but the longer the game went, the better Nathan Burke became, and he was an excellent player for them. Swass was just beaten by weight of numbers and got a little bit frustrated towards the finish. On the forward line, St Kilda, well, they probably had the better players, and up there where Lowe got on top and he was doing extremely well, and Tony Lockett's kicked his 5 goals, should have kicked 6, where he took a great mark over Martin and turned around and just waltzed into to the goals from about 15 metres out. I think a little bit of Tony a little bit carried away and tried to do the big torpedo out of the ground rather than the nice drop punt, and he's kicked it off the side of the boot and he missed. But to the credit of the North backmen, a lot of players such as Scholl,
who I thought was fairly stuck to his guns, was a very good one. Ross Smith got hurt and he was a big loss. And Staritsky, I liked his performance down the back half. And they fought tooth and nail. And when you think that St Kilda really dominated so much of this game and the ball coming down, their performance was very good. I thought it was aided and abetted, though, by the placement of St Kilda. I think that they really have got to look at their setup. I think at the moment they've got it all wrong. There is just no balance down there. At stages there, they had Lockett and Kitsky playing side by side and low, and the sort of game that St Kilda tends to play is that they get it break towards the half-forward line, and then they just kick the ball high into the air on a lot of occasions, which meant you've just got these three big men flying for the ball up there, and there are no crummers. And I think that was highlighted because a lot of the goals, when the game was sort of nip and tuck, from the point of view of no scores were occurring, goals were scored by St Kilda, and a lot of times it was caused by wingmen or on ballers coming down and playing the role of crumbing. So I think that the brains trust at St Kilda have got to look at getting a better balanced forward line. You just can't have those big lumbering men down there because it's just too easy to put Lockett out of business. The other thing from St Kilda's point of view, just a little note I thought here, is that if they want to be a good side and not taking away from their game today, but I think that they are a little bit ultra-conservative, and they're just a little bit worried about we're in front by 4 or 5 goals, let's go defensive rather than bury a side. And as a result, what they did, and especially Danny Frawley, from time and time again, he got the ball, and I looked out the far side of the ground, and he'd have a man who was running wild by himself, and he ignored him. He preferred just to kick to the pack, which was safety in numbers. And I think that St Kilda will have to learn to do that, because they've got some great running players, the likes of Coughlin, who was good today, also McAdam and Winmar, and I think they need to take more use of them. Harding was a great player for them. He had a great battle with Gallagher. Gallagher did some good things in patches, but unfortunately, I thought on the day, Harding showed too much experience and positionment around the ground, took a lot of marks and fed to other players. But all in all, I thought it was a comprehensive victory here by St Kilda today. After an even first quarter, they got on top, and really the game was never in doubt. It was just a matter of whether North, with their great character, could hang in and make a contest of it, but weight of numbers in the finish was just too much for them.
Crackers, how did you see it?
Is that Tony Lockett on the line? But, well, it was a good game. I enjoyed it. It was a side with a very good forward line against a side that had good running players. The forward line really wasn't functioning, and that was a bit of a problem. You look at the people that kicked the goal today was John Longmire, that kicked 4 goals to North Melbourne, and he didn't get those of any command, whereas Lockett kicked 5 goals, and they were all hard-earned, like just going down there, and he axed them out. He really did, and it was an interesting duel, him and Martin. I really believe that probably Martin got him in the finish, and Tony lost his cool, and even at when they were walking off the ground, there wasn't any friendship there. There was, if the umpires had walked away and there was only Martin and Lockett out there would have been a bit of blood on the ground by the end of the walk off the ground. But it was a good game. North Melbourne had their chances and just couldn't go on with it. They really didn't have anything up forward, and the St Kilda defence led by Grant was excellent. And so Morris was good there early too, sort of to break up the North Melbourne thrust. North Melbourne had a lot of legs early and ran the ball pretty well, but they just could not finish. And if you can't finish, you're going to be in strife. They had the ascendancy in the ruck in the first quarter when Gallagher really did get on top of Kitski, and Kitski didn't know what to do, and Gallagher played pretty well. All of a sudden Harding came on. Harding was a pretty serviceable player, kick behind play all day, and he worked reasonably hard, and even though Gallagher did get his kicks and did take a couple of fine marks, it was even Stevens, but it was the on-ballers, and I refer to blokes like Harvey and Winmar that just chopped them up, and Frankie Coughlin. He does work very hard, Frankie Coughlin. You know, if you're going to play on Frank Coughlin, you've got to know how to run, because he does work up and down the ground. And they had almost a winner at centre half forward and Lowy. Now, Stuart Lowe wasn't a good marking exhibition by him today because of the situation. He had a lot of people dropping back on him, but he did create a target, and he allowed blokes like young Danny Craven, who played pretty well, to drop down and and crumb a little bit. The kid that playing his second leave game, young Hilton, Jeff Hilton from Dramana, he was handy. He took a sensational mark and let it go to his head and went down and kicked a man on the mark and he dropped him. But he looks like he'll be a useful player. But St Kilda had it won halfway through the third quarter and let North Melbourne off the hook, and they shouldn't do that. They've been down in the gutter too long to sort of let anybody off the hook. They've got to learn to kill, as Stan was saying a while ago. But, Lockett just waltzed along, kicked 5 goals. Should have kicked 6 goals in a worthwhile performance. Gilbert McAdam kicked 3 goals, and always elusive Gilbert McAdam. If anywhere within 50 yards, he's magic around the place. Frank Coughlin worked hard for his couple of goals. Nathan Burke had a job. He had a pretty fair job to do on young Wayne Swash. There was a good duel. I really believe that probably Swash got the better of him on the day, but in the finish it was Nathan Burke who was running, and Swash became very frustrated. But overall, North Melbourne, I think they're not a bad side, and really believe that St Kilda are a good side. I'm a bit like Stan. I really believe that Ken Shelton's got to do a little bit of his homework and to set up his forward line a little bit better, because you just can't have the big fellas down there, because they run out on you, and if you run out on you in a good side, you're going to be in a bit of strife. You've got to have containment, and at the moment St Kilda haven't got containment down the forward line. They've got goal kicking ability. The bloke that was probably disappointing for North Melbourne, got fair use of the ball today, was Donald McDonald. He was very, very wasteful. All he did was kick points all day, but he did get his hands on the ball. When you do get your hands on the ball and you're supposed to be at centre half forward, you've got to at least kick 2 or 3. And the aerialist, the bloke that landed by parachute just before the game, Brett Allison, he was a little bit busy. He tried to take a couple of more marks, just something to ground very, very well. You are looking at this stage like you're going to play in the finals, and then it really does start.
Thanks, Crackers. And Stan, now I have received some sort of a message. Top 11 wins out of 11 and a match ratio of 100. Essendon, having had the bye, preserves its match ratio at 80. St Kilda 7.5 wins and 3 losses, a match ratio of 68.1. Geelong up to 4th, 7 wins, 4 losses, 63.6 its match ratio. North Melbourne likewise, 7 wins, 4 losses, 63.6. And Melbourne holding on to its place in the 6